Glad I found out I was muted. Hello again. I was talking, I was telling people, I was telling shit. But whatever, nobody watches the beginning of a stream. Ever. Oh, I don't know, I need to make a checklist every time I start streaming to not to forget to turn on my mic. The good decision is going to be not turn off my mic ever. But you know, not everything is easy and sweet in the kingdom of streaming, of living. No, I still can't see my viewer count. I don't want to see it. Can you please don't? Oh, okay. Now it's fine. Um, why my model in like constant? What? Why my model in like constant? Whatever. Whatever. Let's just read it. Who cares, right? Who cares? Um. Oh, last time. Oh no. I remember what happened last time. Last time was bad. Last time I literally like rage quit because of this dumb shit that we were talking about. Um, Saying in red that the culprit is a human is equivalent to your proclamation of resignation. If you want to strive me a blow so badly you're prepared to die at the same time, I think it's a very interesting move. However, this battle will end in my victory. Beatrice Red was truly his secret weapon, her treasured blade. The things she spoke in Red would become solidified as the truth, and no amount of evidence or counter-arguments could change them. She could just be lying, by the way, whatever. It had cut me down to size many times now, rendering into any support my heart had to lean on. However, if she used it carelessly, then I could also find a little information about the truth. In the last game, especially during the chapel's locked room trick, it had taken advantage of that. It had once closed her in almost completely. But she was also pretty sly. She had learned from experience, and since then, she started using discretion in the timing of red. This feeling of tension was almost literally like a battle with real swords, was it? This was a battle of high intelligence. Was it? Are you though? Are you guys? You... You were too arrogant. What the fuck? No, none of the intelligence, yeah. It really was twisted logic. Yeah, twisted logic is a better word than intelligence. This was the world's craziest and worst battle of twisted logic. Whoa. My laptop is pretty fucking loud. Can you hear it? I hope not. I hope my mic doesn't pick it up. Hold on. Let me check something. It might as well. Fuck. I can't check it right now, unfortunately. Oh well. So, that's your move. That's right. To use your Hempel's Raven. First, you'll have to confirm in red how many humans there are other than 18. And after that, if you proclaim in red that none of the people of this group are the culprit. That's right. That might be a fatal wound for me. I'm surprised that you no longer have even an atom of fear for that red which you feared so much. You're quite sturdy. Unleash it, your treasured blade. A single perfect swing, and you might be able to break me this time. Who knows? Interesting. I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, this is really loud. Agitate her. Provoke her. Drive her into a corner to make her speak in red. Of course your red has always cut right through my only trait of hope. But don't be afraid of that. On this island, overcome with falsehood and illusions, the only thing you can trust is information that she speaks in red. Is it? Can you though? It is my only way across the chasm of hell. Yeah, why would witch ever tell you the truth? Just a single tightrope. Her merciless blood-red blade is the only way I can survive. This isn't just walking on a tightrope, it's literally like walking on the edge of a blade. Of course I'm afraid. In terms of your contrapositive, my victory condition, the denial of the witch, mean that the culprit was a human. But I didn't want to search for the culprit, I mean the 18. Therefore, I held on to a weak spot since I had to deny the witch and the 18 at the same time. Since I had been unable to understand it last time, that was where she had hit me, leaving me tattered and defeated. But that's alright. Let her hit me. Let her attack. No problem. Someone said it once in an old sword fighting movie, that a good fortress has one and only one intentionally weak point. The enemy would gather here. They would be lured here. And that would be where the actual battle took place. As long as I understand my weak points, and as long as she wants to attack those weak points, it's as if I've included her to attack here. Carefully judge the distance from your enemy, and retreat step by step. Make them draw their swords first. The more she recklessly flourishes the thread, the more chances I have to strike back. Don't be afraid of the rat. Keep the pressure on so she's forced to reunite with the rat. No matter how oppressively she speaks in rat, yes, that rat itself is the same as flesh blood spurting from your wounds. Spurting. Come on, what's wrong? First of all, why don't you tell me in rat how many people on this island total? If you don't, your avian can cut me up. How surprising you can be this desperate and yet this difficult. One cannot make light of someone putting their life on the line, no matter what the era. I'm not surprised your king's a grandchild. Stop saying this! The more cornered you are, the bolder you become. Renov cleared his throat. You appear to be a standstill. I don't remember his voice. That black tea I worked so hard to make is getting cold, my lady. Renov, who was supposed to be her ally, roughishly rushed her next move. Beatrice smiled back, probably intending to demonstrate that she was still relaxed, but she couldn't hide the sweat building up on her forehead. Hold on. Let me do something here. Okay. Beatrice smiled back, probably intended to demonstrate that she was still relaxed, but she couldn't hide her sweat building up on her forehead. But now she was completely lost at relaxedness, which had allowed her to turn her nose up at her worthless opponent. Of course she probably wasn't really concerned by something like this. She was just being cautious. Until now, I had been inexperienced. I didn't have a good grasp on how to fight, and I was underpowered as an opponent. However, now that we reached the third game, she realized that I was starting to become skilled, and she had grown more cautious, thinking every move over carefully. Sure, that's just fine, Beatrice. And sorry to have kept you waiting. Are you happy now? Now things are starting to get interesting, right? Ooh, that's a good face. Butler. That's amazing face. My favorite Beatrice face so far. Look at this. Look at the emotion. It's good. This isn't going anywhere. Then should I just drive right in and go as the usual? Huh. The usual, you say? Then by all means. If I don't hear that, I guess I just won't get the sense that we're started. The first move was mine. Here I come, Beata. Repetition requested. There is only 18 people on this island. If I hear you say this in red, I will have no choice but to doubt no one of the 18. Since it could no longer be the work of 19th person, all doors will be closed to me. But I believe that the culprit is definitely not one of the 18. There is no way that any of those 18 could committed such brutal murders. I'll say it again. Repetition requested. There are only 18 people on this island. I decline. I won't say why. Phew. I had avoided that. I had avoided what would have been the worst threat for me. If she had repeated that, I would have been faced with those two worst choices of accepting the witch or suspecting one of the 18. Like last time all over again. But Beata had not proclaimed my ultimate and greatest weakness in red. She had declined to repeat it, even though there was no reason why she shouldn't have struck, even though it was weakness she should have been drooling at. She hadn't sliced me up with red by using that move, which should have been as good as forking a rook in a king. This was a big sign of my advantage. That's right, the culprit isn't one of the 18 people. I won't doubt anymore, and since the culprit isn't a witch either, it means there is an 18th person existing on this island. And that's you. A person who, as grandfather's mistress over 30 years, has been living secretly in a hidden mansion in the forest for a long, long time. I really don't think so. The human Beatrice. That's right. You aren't a witch or anything like that. You're just a human who's been living on this island in hiding for several decades. They just call me the endless witch who has lived for over 1,000 years, a mere human? For a while, Beatrice continued to laugh unpleasantly, gloating, or maybe spiteful. Are you ready? I'll keep going. Again, repetition requested. There are at least 19 people on this island. Beatrice fell silent once again. The feeling that confirming the number of humans on this island might possibly stand to give you some large disadvantage was probably making her extremely cautious. The rat had already become a foothold for my counterattack. With that in mind, the rat had become a risk for the witch. But if she couldn't repeat this, her Hampel's Raven wouldn't work. In order to break my devil's proof, first the existence of a number of people outside the 18 needed to be confirmed in red. That's right, she couldn't break the existence of an 18th person unless she used red. I had closed Beata in, giving her no choice but to speak in red. There really was a way to fight in a witch's game. It's alright to decline. If you can't say it in red, then that will mean the total number of people on this island will be 18 plus X. Okay. I try to drink my water without straw. You know? Great. That X is a pretty huge piece to allow me to have. What? That X is a pretty huge piece to allow me to have on the first move, isn't it? After all, from here on, all the tricks with a basis it's impossible for any of the 18 will become explainable with a human X outside of a 18. This is a huge piece that can break only any locked room hanging on everyone having an alibi. It was just like a bishop in chess that can cut a thin line through enemy forces as long as there is a slight gap. If only exerts an effect over squares of the same color, but he has a great ability to control the board. It looked like Beata also well understood her current plight. She couldn't just let such an important piece go, especially this close to the beginning of a game. If she pulled out her red treasured sword, it wouldn't be that difficult to save that piece. But Beata was completely aware that I was expecting it. She was afraid that a careless red truth might end up straightening her own neck. Because, in the first place, a witch was something which should be denied in red. Believe, don't doubt. Witches doesn't exist. Something like that can't exist in the world. They can only exist in the cracks of reality. They're a fragile existence curled up in these cracks, frantically trying to protect themselves from the brutal winds of truth, and they can only barely exist like a miracle by surviving in falsehood and fantasy. In other words, the red, which only witches can see, is a very reality by which they risk denying themselves. The more they brandish their red words, the more they begin to lose, bit by bit, that cracking reality inside which they can endure. This is why they don't want, through the red, to carelessly lose this cracking reality which is based on fuzzy information, or in other words, fantasy, because they understand that they would be gradually cornering themselves. Of course, she would never admit it, because if she did, it would be the same as admitting that she is something that can't exist in this world, like an imaginary number. Don't be afraid, stay strong. She knows this deep down and better than anyone. That her red treasured sword can easily be used without considerable resolve. That's wrong. I'll say it again. Repetition requested. There are at least 19 people on this island. I decline. At the end of a long time spent deliberating, letting a single deep breath escape, she quietly proclaimed her refusal. I had thought that she'd use it, but Beatrice refused to speak in red, even though it would cost her victory in the opening part of the game. Declined? Yes. Which means that from now on, I can create as many fictional character X's outside of what 18 as I want? What the fuck? Do as you wish. I have declined your petition. Isn't that enough for you? The reason I declined was... No, I will not reveal it for now. You will know soon in any case. Still accent off, I see. Red that I deliberately don't use is in itself a fitting use of red. You called it my red treasured sword. A pleasing analogy. I will use it too. A treasured sword is at its best when it's shattered. Shattered? In fact, there are times it can instill even more fear because if it's shattered. What the fuck does it mean? That's right. As I fight, I always have to keep in mind that you might turn everything over with those red swords. It's some pretty serious pressure. And there are times when having a repetition decline making things harder for me. Those times, I can't tell whether you can repeat because my guess was right, or whether you're just misleading me and letting me think whatever I want. In that sense, yeah, I see. Shattered treasured sword. What does it matter? If I'm going to push you off the cliff anyway, I might as well let you climb a little higher first. What the fuck? Why have odds on my other account? This is insane. We have still barely begun. Much is left to come. I'll resign from this challenge. Go ahead and drink on your faint victory for now. Only for now. I mean, if Beatrice is a witch, why the fuck would she tell you in red that there is only 19 people here? Oh, but she didn't say there is only 18 people either. So bitter comment did, in fact, appear to have marked the end of the game's opening battle. And even so, I couldn't relax my guard at all. I was unable to relax my feelings of tension until I was greeted by the sound of Renault's applause. Spectacular, Butler-sama. I suppose we could say that this game would start with at least an opening and fold into your advantage? No idea. I still don't know whether this piece was something I tore from her with my own hands, or whether she guided me into taking it. After all, knowing you probably know that I'm being led into a trap, and that clapping is just her first lie, right? How could you think that? I'm innocently celebrating your ability that was enable you to take one shot at my lady, though granted it is only in the opening. After all, my lady is a person who's quick to become arrogant. I believe that a little simulation such as that makes for a good medicine every once in a while. Literally me? The butler of yours sure have a vicious tone. Isn't that so? He enrages even me. My, how incredibly rude of me. Well then, milady, Butler-sama, would you care for some more black tea? The game has still barely begun. Please leave any tea or pastries that might adorn this game for me. Please do not hesitate to advance further in this game. I will. Let's move forward. Ooh! I didn't click though. I'm using spacebar. I'm not insane. 30,000 clicks. Cool. I will. Let's move forward. Now it's when reality starts. Very well. Let us advance the clock. Renault, black tea, please. Certainly. What about the cookie? No need. Give it to Beelzebub to keep you happy. Remain silent for now. While listening to the sound of a demon butler pouring tea, the witch closed her eyes slightly and fell into silence. For some time she was deeply lost in thought, but eventually a ravish glint came into her eyes. Very well. Why didn't inform you? Now why I declined to speak in red for the first move? What? Bring it on? Show me what you got. It really is a big piece that you hate to miss. It may be hasty, but allow me to move. I wonder, Thread, but from here on, Rosa will explain on my behalf. Listen. Loud? Of course I agree as well. You too, right, Rosa? Rosa? Uh-huh. Sorry. Me too. I agree. What's wrong, Rosa-san? You've been really quiet for a while now. Are you feeling sick? From the beginning, Rosa had never been one to willingly cut in on a siblings' fight, but even so, she seemed unmotivated, and had said almost nothing at all during the night's conference. The whole time, she had been hanging her head, and appeared to be thinking of something else. You've been in daze for a while now. Do you think you can protect the inheritance like this? You are also the mother of a child, so get stronger hold on yourself. I'm sorry. I imagine you woke up quite early this morning. If you feel sick, you should never do it. The beds have been prepared in the guest rooms. How about taking a rest? I will guide you. No, I'm fine. Thank you. What is it? Is there something you're worrying about? No, not really. Are you sure? It feels like you might have been elsewhere this whole time. I wonder if that has anything to do with what we've been talking about? At those words, everyone stared at Rosa together, as if in response Rosa's shoulders quivered. Apparently, Curie guess hasn't been wrong. Nor did Rosa deny it. No, She swallowed whether it was she had been about to say, and went silent again. By now, even the other siblings were also beginning to realize that something about her demeanor was different from usual. What is it? You've been weird for a while. Do you have something on your mind? All of us have just sworn to remain untied, haven't we? Don't be all unfriendly now, worrying about yourself. Let's talk it over. Rosa, tell us. Praised by the men one after another, Rosa made up her mind and nervously began to open up. It was almost as though she was trying to confess to some modest prank which has inadvertently brought about a serious situation. Such was the atmosphere in the room. No, this mistress of grandfather's, the Beatrice. Is she really, still alive? I was wondering. Huh? Obviously she's alive. She's sending a letter to us. What more do you want? Whether she's healthy or not is a different story, though. The lowly woman in the portrait must be getting up here by age by now. I think she's healthy. People who are crafty when it comes to money are healthy no matter how old they are. Evil plants might even be the best rejuvenating agent. Uh-huh. She can't be alive. Huh? What did you just say? Beatrice is dead. I... Uh, uh, huh? Huh? I killed her. What did you say? What do you mean, Rosa? But it's not like I was the one who killed, but I was the one that brought you to a place like that. I really did kill her. I tried to make myself believe it was a dream. But it really wasn't after all, which means this is a letter from Beatrice's ghost. It was so sudden that everyone has lost for words. Rosa keep on talking, unable to stop holding her head, and her hair flew all about. Please calm yourself, Rosa-san. I have absolutely no clue what's going on. Already dead? What do you mean? I think it means two things. First, it's literal meaning, and second, it's substance that our earlier guest was correct. Which means... Rosa, have you met with Beatrice? I've never heard Rosa speak about it once. Rosa, when was it? When could you possibly have met Beatrice? Long ago. Long ago. We had just moved over to the island and I was young. It wasn't my fault. It's not like I killed her. Oh. Calm down. Nobody's blaming you for anything, alright? First, drink some water, okay? Natsuki-san, the picture, please. Yes. Here you go, Rosa-san. Please, calm yourself. Good water. Water. Until Rosa was able to regain her calm amidst her rage and breathing, Nova was able to speak a word. Are you gonna tell me what's going on? Hold on. Rosa and the Witch of the Forest. Oh. Oh? Hold on. Why didn't Rosa mention it before? Oh, because before they never took Beatrice seriously? Did Rosa saw 19th person before? What the fuck is this? Beatrice, I've been calling for you for a while. Did you not hear me? Were you? My apologies. I was lost in my thoughts. Forgive me. The weather is pleasant. I see. I can understand how the weather has stolen your heart. Will you drink your black tea here? One voice? Whatever. Who am I? I will bring some black tea now. Wait here for a while. Forget about the black tea. Talk with me. Very well. Kinzo had used the excuse of going to bring some black tea to try and interrupt the conversation for the time being, but his attempt has been very transparent. I sat in a garden chair and beckoned Kinzo to do the same. Kinzo sat down heavily, exaggerating his age. For a while, we sat, appreciating the silence. Who am I? To this day, no one has answered me this question. For some reason, everyone averts their gaze and evades me. I have known you for a long time. I think of you as my best friend, even as a father. This is why I invite so much for you to tell me. You must know who I am. Why do you worry about something like that? You are Beatrice, the master of this mansion, is it not so? What more could you want to know? I do not know. Did he capture her? What's this? Don't you even understand yourself what it is you want to know? That's baffling. In my younger days, I sometimes find myself wanting to play in a maze of thoughts that has no exit. Maybe that is what your worries are. Kinza laughed as though it was a trivial matter. However, I couldn't help but feel that this behavior was nothing but another attempt to force me to stop my father questioning. This is a cute face, another cute face, love it. So, not even you would tell me that, after all. There is nothing to tell, you are Beatrice. Isn't that more than enough? No, that's not it. What I wish to know is not my name. It is who I am. Who I am, what I am. How long have I been here? How long will I continue my days here? I really should bring some black tea. Do you not think it's a waste of all this fine weather? Whoa, he's a dick! What is this all about? Somehow, it looks like a story of your past, right? It appears so, to think that we would go this far back. Wondering who you were, it looked like you had some pretty high-minded worries. That's to be expected. At this time, I was unable to understand who I was, or why I was alive. Well, in puberty, everyone is captured by those philosophical worries, wondering what the meaning there is to their life, at least once. Doesn't it just mean that you had this kind of charming period once in your life? I had been in this mansion since the time I was born, and I lived only inside the mansion. Of course I was able to go out into the garden, but the area around the mansion was surrounded by a very tall fence, which was I unable to leave through. And I would be told severely that I mustn't leave. I could walk freely throughout the mansion and the garden, but my desire to take just one step outside, those of... Sorry? But my desire to take just one step outside, those of my own accord, has never granted. What do you mean by that? Are you trying to say that for as long as you can remember, you were always a bird in a cage? I thought that was just how things were. After all, I had been living like that as far back as I could remember. I didn't even think to question it. What in the world are you? That's it. That is what I also hope to know. I'm sure you'll say something like, I wasn't human, I was a witch, right? No, that's not correct. Not yet correct. Or should I say, it was once correct. I was constructed by Kinza, a human built by a human. No, maybe I should call it a cage made of flesh. What's that supposed to mean? This is starting to sound weird. You probably won't believe it anyways. Listen first. I was a great witch who had lived for 1,000 years. But at some time, I was summoned by Kinza. And by his hidden arts, I was bound to his prisoner for eternity. Never heard that before. From what we hear in the Shinomiya family, he was summoned by a grandfather, made something like a devil's contract with him, and gave him the gold. Yes, that is correct. Then I was supposed to hide myself until the contract was over. But, well, it stopped being a popular woman. By some turn of events, Kinzo fell in love with me. Grandfather's nearsightedness must have got him pretty bad, with his astigmatism too. So fall in love with you, of all things. Well, to me it was a supremely annoying. However, the power of humans is a frightening thing. He exhibited fearsome power and rooted me to his place. He said I wouldn't be freed until I nodded my heart in agreement. Such an overbearing man. Isn't that awesome? Everyone know Grandfather's obsessed with our code, but who knew he had the power to root down the great witch Beatrice-sama? Ridiculous. You think I believe such a weird story? I thought you don't believe. All I believe is the fact that you live in this hidden mansion in the middle of the forest. You're the 19th person in Rokijima, right? Right? Indeed. Just as you imagined, this is deep in the forest of Rokijima, a hidden mansion not to be found from the outside world. Its name in Kuvadorian. 9 Birds Retreat, Kuvadorian. Nice name. Come to think of it, I've heard the guest house real name was Torian. Torayan? Oh, Tora like a bird? Tora power. I see, the name and sounds similar. So you were grandfather's lover who lived here in secret. Isn't that right? Lover isn't the right way to say it. You should probably call it Kinza's unrequired love. I spoke of it recently, correct? He fell in love with me of his own accord. He then courted me, but I rejected him. Then I was shut up in a hidden mansion. No, I shouldn't say that I was shut up in a mansion. It would be more correct to say that I was shut up in his body. I have no idea what you said in the end here. You will just make fun and not listen, right? After all, you say that you don't believe in witches or magic. If you have no ears to hear what I tell you, saying it would be the pinnacle of foolishness. I'll decide whether I believe or not. After all, if I don't hear it, the story won't move on. Tell me, the story of your past. Why would she do this? Oh, because she wanna confirm that she is an 18th person. Alright. I refused Ginzo when he courted me, but he was not a man to lose heart just because of that. He wanted to get my consent no matter what. He shut me up in the mansion and spent an eternity trying to win my heart. He really is overbearing. No one likes a man who can take a hint, right? Regardless of whether I respond to his courting or not, to make a man so desperate for me was... well, as a woman, it wasn't pleasant. However, I never nodded my head. I tried what I could to escape his restrictions, but that barrier was firm and I couldn't break it. And then, after trying to resist in various ways, I eventually reached the conclusion that to escape from Kinza's barrier, I would have to throw away my body of flesh. The physical body is a vessel which carries many restrictions in terms of magic. Throw away your body of flesh? What's that? Something like an out-of-body experience? Well, if you want to think of it this way, however, I am not a spirit. Even though I am a witch in the beginning, I was born with a human's body of flesh. So for me, throwing away that physical body, while it didn't mean the same thing as that, did require a corresponding level of resolve. So, in other words, you made up your mind that you couldn't be released except by suicide. Is that what you mean? It wasn't suicide. It was nothing more than throwing away my body of flesh. Of course, becoming nothing more than a soul is a precarious situation. When the soul leaves its body of flesh, it is constantly exposed to the strong winds of the sun. Huh? Okay. It was not easy even for me to maintain myself and avoid being scarred by them. It was a final measure that I wanted to avoid if I could, however, there was no other way to break through Kinzo's barrier. After all, I'm a free spirit. I couldn't stop being kept in a cage until Kinzo's life was over. I couldn't understand that story Beata kept going on about throwing away her body of flesh as anything more than suicide. Grandfather persistently courted her, and to escape from that, she chose her own death? So you're saying you committed suicide? What are you saying? Isn't that you sitting carefree here in the garden chair? That's right. That is the new cage I was given by Kinzo. Cage? You mean this mansion? No. I mean my body relaxing in the garden chair over here. After I became a soul and tried to escape, even then, Kinzo had no intention of allowing me to escape. Yes, indeed, he is a frightening person. Normally, seeing a woman of your one-sided desire take your own life should be enough to bring anyone to their senses, even if their love is 100-year-old. I suppose it makes him somewhat of a mage after all. Don't try to speak in riddles with that incomprehensible witch girl talk. Witch girl talk. This is cute. In short, what are you trying to say? That Kinzo didn't let me escape even after I became a soul. Human emotions are terrifying. That he would be able to exhibit this much power? Tying down a spirit of the dead is not a level radiantly untamed, even for a mage seeking dead as his specialty. Because I knew that, Kinzo's fearful magical power shocked me then for the first time. Then Kinzo seized my soul and brought me back. However, a cage to hold a seized soul cannot be made, not from iron, not from lead. There is but one exception. What? You aren't going to say it was a magical cage or something, are you? No, she's gonna say you need human sacrifice or something. Ron, that body of flesh over here, just like yours or mine. Only a cage made of flesh and blood can tie a spirit down to this world. Kinzo shut my soul up once more into a cage of flesh built to be exactly like me. So in summary, is it something like this? Sorry, I'm drinking. Confess it persistently encouraged you, you started to hate it, and you committed suicide. But you weren't clever enough to finish the job. Damn, you really took a roundabout way to say something like that. No, that's wrong. My soul was shut up in the seed of a homunculus. Ooh, and I was born out of test tube. Huh? Ridiculous. That's a goddamn impossible, and you know it. Kinzo accomplished even the miracle of creating life, and only to shut my soul up in that cage. That he would show such a magical power simply because of his own love. A sorrowfully terrifying person. Okay, it's really gotten to a point of ridiculousness now. Say whatever you want, I don't believe a word of it. Just do what you like, for hell's sake. What is this unpleasant attitude? In the beginning, I showed a little interest, thinking here might be some huge hint hidden. But the more I hear, the weirder the story starts to get. This is supposed to be a game about denying witches, but I get the feeling that I'm suddenly being made to just swallow a witch story. Sorry, but I don't feel like listening to this anymore. Just keep rambling on to yourself as much as you want. I'll just be here, digging out some earwax or something. Whoa! This is a huge dick move, but I don't understand where is this coming from. What about Rosa? How's Rosa saw all of this? We're starting showing a cold attitude. Beata acted unusually discouraged. Of course her expression was still brazen. But I had the feeling that I was able to catch a glimpse of loneliness because I hadn't found the story of your past interesting. In that reality, in that really easy to understand expression of hers, for some reason, that slight reaction made her seem pitiful. So even though I kept my couldn't care less attitude, I decided to humor her slightly. Ooh. Damn it, even though she's an irritating witch, I'm still weak against her because of her chromosome RXX. Oh my god, why? Well, I have absolutely no desire to believe you, but keep going. I listened to your story in the place of cookies. So you treat the story of my past like cookies? You think that if you abuse me like that, I will just casually tell you? After I made fun of her, Beatrice reacted a little sensitively. It looked like even though making fun of people was her specialty, she was horrible at being made fun of by other people. She's literally me. Just then, my cup of black tea suddenly made a sound, surprising me. Milady's soul was seized and breathed into a cage of a new life. In other words, Milady received life as a human once more. Before I had realized it, the demon butler has appeared and taken my cup and was adding more black tea to it. Run off. That's enough of that story. He says that it's ridiculous to listen to. I now also feel ridiculous to have no intentions of speaking. Some new cookies are currently being baked. I thought that until then, the story of my lady's past would be a perfect substitute. I already said that I've had enough of talking about me. You're both unpleasant people. I am leaving. Renov, leave as soon as you're done serving. No idle talking with Butler. Certainly. I will make an effort. Ooh. What about Rosa? How Rosa killed her? Are you not gonna tell me? Beatrice's confusing female short temper. What the fuck? She literally like was pouring her soul out here to you and you were like, fuck you, Beatrice, huh? This is totally, she has all rights to be mad at you for not listening to her? Fuck you, Butler, in this specific situation? Turned your body into gold butterflies, scattered and disappeared. After that, only Renov and the scent of a black tea were left. I feel kind of bad for making her angry. It appears that you are aware of it, so there is nothing more to be said. Wait a second. Weren't you the one pushed her over the edge? My, what are you could mean? Would you care for some sugar and milk? Just milk will be fine. And I also want some cookies. You're aware that baking the cookies will take some more time? There's a substitute, is that? Certainly. If you would listen quietly, I will continue the story. She said something about a homunculus. I know a bit about that. Yeah, me too. Isn't that... It's that thing, right? A manufactured human created with alchemy or something? Yes. Milady's soul was shut up in a homunculus, and she was revived into this world, receiving lives again as a baby. However, because she was a baby, even if Kinza tried to profess his love to her, it would be useless. You are insane. Grandfather shut the baby up in his hidden mansion until it grew to reach the same age? Yes, that is what I'm saying. However, while his soul was the same, a human spirit received a strong influence from its vessel. Milady lost all of her memories of the past and grew up as a very normal human girl. Are you saying that the Beata sitting in the garden chair? Yes, that is correct. She grew to be completely identical. However, she did not possess her power as a witch. I must stress that Milady was a human. Beata, who was sitting in the garden chair, looked up in the sky, asked that same question again. She asked who she was. The meaning of those words has finally starting to click. She couldn't understand why she was living here, all locked up. Grandfather had seized Beatrice's soul, shut it up in a body of flesh, and then shut that up in a hidden mansion. However, since she had lived here since the time she was born, she couldn't even understand who she was, or why she lived shut up in here. This is fucked up. Jesus Christ. Wait. Who would take such a stupid story seriously? Why don't I change my interpretation? Essentially, couldn't it be something like this? Grandfather met Beatrice. He then fell in love with her and courted her, but she didn't nod her head in agreement. And so he got angry and shut her up inside this hidden mansion. Beatrice tried to escape, but no matter what she did, she couldn't succeed. So she finally chose her own death. And then she didn't succeed with suicide and somehow lost her memory because of some mental shutdown, and now she's sitting here and thinking, what the fuck, who am I? Maybe there was a girl that looked just like Beatrice? No, a baby? And grandfather raised his child with care. But maybe grandfather didn't view this child as his daughter. This is so fucked up. Shadow my soul once more into a cage of flesh. Those words probably meant that he didn't view this kid as her child, but as her reincarnation. Oh my god, that's like the other game that we played on this channel. Maybe that's what it meant. If you interpret it this way, even a story that weird might make little sense. No. This might be some bullshit Beata cooked up to confuse me. She was cocaine. As if I could accept any of this. In the first place, Kuvadorian, was it? There is no proof whatsoever that the hidden mansion actually existed. Couldn't this be something she just fabricated on the spot? You can go and check, though, no? What about Rosa? Oh, how are you allowed to talk in the red text? A hidden mansion called Kuvadorian does exist in the forest of Rokinjima. That is a place we were just talking about. Huh? Red? Rena would use the red to say that Kuvadorian actually existed. Does it mean the same thing as the red Beata used? Even if I'm not much of one, I'm a demon all the same. Please keep this a secret from Lady, yes? Yeah? Beata, who knew of it, tried to trip you up, had grown extremely cautious when using red. To think that Renov could also use that red. Of course, it's the red of a crafty man. I don't know how far I can accept it. But, oh, so you're questioning his red, but you're not questioning her red? Okay, cool. But anyway, I might be able to get some hint out of here. So that Beata relaxed in the garden of Kuvadorian. Kuvadorian. Okay, I'm doing this right. And that conversation she had with grandfather was the truth? Yes, it is the truth. In the past, the pair actually had a conversation like that in this place. Thanks a lot. I'll ask for some more red. She said that she was born from a homunculus, but does that kind of unscientific magical thing actually exist? Yeah, I'm unable to answer this question. Good. The reason is that if it would cause a stalemate. What the fuck is a stalemate? A stalemate? What do you mean? It's a chess term referring to a state in which, similar to a perpetual check, any further progress in game becomes impossible. This is the opposite of an endless repetition of moves, and refers to a situation in which all moves disappear, resulting in a kind of a deadlock. Is it really possible in chess to have a situation like this? This is cool. In chess, it would lead to a draw, just as if there was a perpetual check. However, there is no draw in this game between you and Milady. Therefore, I am unable to answer in red any questions that would bring about a stalemate. You speaking in riddles by saying something I don't really understand. But when it comes down to it, you're just trying to trick me because you can say in red that something magical like a homunculus exists, right? If I were to say in red witches exist, that would you do, Butler-sama? That's what we're having a big fight over whether or not I believe, right? If you told me that over tide, there'd be nothing more to discuss. It'd be game over. Is it though? He could be lying! If I said witches exist in red, you would have no room for argument. However, since the reason you would never have been made clear to you, Butler-sama, you probably wouldn't accept it. However, after being told that in red, you would have no room for argument and would not have been shown any proof. No! If he would be told it in red, that means it discredited every red text that you ever told me. Ever. No? Yes. I think answer is yes. In this situation, Butler-sama, even though you wouldn't be able to admit defeat, you would have no way to make a counter-argument, and it would become a deadlock. No. Even though checkmate would not have been reached, no more moves would exist. Since you would not be able to make your next move, it would never become my lady's turn, and the game would stop here for all eternity. As a result, Milady would be unable to force you to submit. That would be a deadlock situation. In order to avoid it, I'm unable to answer question in the form of red. So, to cut to the chase, you mean that question that leaves no room for discussion are prohibited? Well, that makes sense, I guess. If I was told witches exist in red, I have to give up from the start. No, you need to discredit everything any of these people said. This is dumb. I actually love that Butler has like a red shirt and black tie. Can he like put this jacket out so I could just see him in a red shirt? It will look good, probably. Does he have a sprite like this? We're not making any progress with the story, we're just talking about Beatrice. Well, I'm not exactly against it. I'm more interested in Beatrice's story than anyone else's, but... I am pleased that you understand. I believe we might be able to work together if you ask a question for a different forum. Can you respond to the petition request she dodged? About the number of people on this island? If my lady held back on the request, then of course I could not respond. Yeah, this would be awful for her. As my lady's furniture, I'm unable to act too forward. Arnaud made an exaggerated gesture, trying to act like a loyal retainer. This guy is so shameless. Just then, I thought you might be useful. I'll give up on that and search for a different question. That's right. I was forgetting to check something important. This is a story about Beata's memories, right? When did it happen? It couldn't be happening right now, right? Correct. This is a world of 1967. So like 20 years ago or something? Nope, wrong one. Cool, no date. It is a world of 19 years ago. Let's go through the story one more time. I wonder if it couldn't be something like this. Grandfather had a person with whom he felt an unrequited love called Beatrice, and he confined her in this hidden mansion and continually courted her. Fuck me. But she was stubborn and didn't say yes. Eventually, she grew pessimistic about being unable to escape from here, and probably committed suicide. And then, her soul was put in a homunculus, and... No, if I accept this, it's the same as accepting the witch. I can interpret this part like this. She probably left a daughter behind when she died. The talk about the soul being put in a new body probably meant that grandfather raised a child believing it to be reincarnation of Beatrice. In this case, Beata must have been existing on this island for at least the last 18 years as the 19th person. 19 years as the 19th person, and then... I'm starting to get confused. In any event, none of this leaves the realm to guesswork. The only thing I can definitely say in red is that in 1967, in the hidden mansion in Rokujima, Beatrice existed as a human. That's all. That is correct. In 1967, in the hidden mansion in Rokujima, Beatrice-sama existed as a human. Oh, thank you. That really helps. Congratulations. With this, you have made clear the existence of a beast known as the 19th person, the 19th human outside the 18 who can blame just as you longed for. Me. A sacrificial shape that you can shift the blame of any crime onto. And you must be so glad that it is my lady. Renova laughed indiscreetly. Yeah, and especially because this child was fucking shut down in the mansion for 19 years. They have probably a lot of murderous intent in them, aren't they? Somehow, I didn't like his phrasing, so I didn't feel like laughing along with him. That's right. Until I said it. Beatrice is dead? I killed her? What does that mean? As for that, it may be faster to see the actual circumstances rather than listen to me tell you. Let us advance the clock a little more. Renault pulled a stylish pocket watch from his pocket and made to wind the crown. As soon as he did it, I saw a gold butterfly scatter behind Renault's back and take the form of a person. Hmm? Oh, she's here? She's back? Was it Beata? I quickly realized that it was someone else. Oh, it's her! It was her. Suspicious scent. That older sister of the Seven Stakes, who loved tormenting more than anything else. If I don't think myself lucky to see that sexy ass, I wouldn't be able to play along with their torture game. Renova-sama. So, he was still here. This is an urgent call from Beatrice-sama. My. What kind of urgent business could it be? It appears as though I have spent slightly too long chatting with you, Butler-sama. Well done. Hello. Well done, Butler-sama. If you will excuse me, please continue to enjoy your game with my lady. Yeah. I'll enjoy it as best as I can, because the conversations are more lively with you than Beata, and you use red more graciously. Come talk again anytime. Butler-sama, despite how I look, I am my lady's furniture. I cannot do something that my lady does not wish. What I said in red was something that normally should have come from my lady's mouth. I did nothing more than announce the red truth in my lady's place as she sulking. So, she really was sulking then. Seeking me and Renault incomprehensibly hitting it off, that Seven Stakes chick cocked your head slightly. Renova-sama! We are keeping Beatrice-sama waiting! Let us hurry! Yes, I will come immediately. Well then, Butler-sama, I shall see you later. It appears that we have finally started getting along. As I thought, we have the feeling that we can become good friends. If by that you mean partners gossiping behind Beato's back. Renova-sama! Yes. Then, if you will excuse me. Maybe it was because she really didn't like seeing him acting friendly with me, or maybe it was because she really been told to hurry. The Seven Stakes bay below sharply at Renault, and she laughed foolishly and disappeared, as if running away. Can we come back to real time now? How could I, the eldest sister of the Seven Stakes of Purgatory, be called on this level of work? Beatrice-sama could easily have told me one of the younger sisters who look like they have so much free time for something like this. Sheesh. Why so grumpy, girl? If you're hungry, eat a cookie or something. Why don't I give you at least one? How thoughtful. Then, shall I take one? I lightly pushed the snack plate with the last remaining cookie on it over to her. Thank you. Yeah, thought so. Is it allowed that she cut Butler off in the middle of a game? Although coming as a replacement for a period of an end of a sentence, a sharp sound pierced the table. The nail of 3 of her fingers had sharply extended and were stuck a hair's breadth onto the gas between my fingers on a hand that I had used to push the plate. It had happened in an instant, so for a while I didn't even realize that her fingernails had grown. The tips of those sharp nails felt like blades with a red manicure. The spaces between the blades of my fingers prickled. What conspiracy theories have you cooked up? Actually none. This is a really old sizzle, which doesn't reflect reality anymore, unfortunately. Those razor-like blades were sticking sharply into the back of my hand and into the spaces between my fingers. Those 3 blades, my carelessly outstretched right hand was not even permitted to shake, and all I could do now was allow a single line of cold sweat to drip down. Oh wee. Isn't it about time to cut your nails, babe? Lucifer. That is my noble name. Honored furniture serving Beatrice-sama and the eldest sister of the Seven Stakes of Purgatory. I'm not like my disgraceful and cretinous younger sisters. If you don't show me proper respect, you will regret it. I have some very controversial theories. Beatrice is evil. Really? You think so? My theory is that she's not actually evil. I mean, she does kill people. But, you know, she has a reason to do it, probably. I'm not like my disgraceful and yeah. If you don't show me proper respect, you will regret it. How would I regret it? She's silly. Yeah, she is. I don't have a clue. Haha. Stupid kid. Do you really want me to play with you that much? You really can't get me out of your mind. I'll trust my stick deep into you and make you really enjoy being gorged. Got it? Hehehe. You bitch. One day I'll push you down and say that back to you. Oh, really? I'll be looking forward to that then. Great scene. There's no value whatsoever. Love it. Yay, we're back. Rosa eventually regained her calm. The man wanted to hurry her into talking faster, but Curie interrupted. Where? Okay, I can't read today, as always. Curie intervened. If something like she had just mentioned really had happened, it was an abominable past that she wouldn't want to remember. After taking several deep breaths with her hand over her chest, it seems that she had more or less gathered the resolve to talk. How old was I then? I wonder. Probably middle school, or I don't remember well. Anyway, I think I was about that old, which means maybe about 20 years ago. Back then my grades weren't very good and mother was always angry at me. I was trying to do my best in my own way, but I couldn't respond to mother's expectation at all. Mother was always very strict with Rosa. I sympathized with her at the time. You say that even though you were always talking behind her back. Would you give it a rest, Eva? So? Where did you meet Beatrice, Rosa-san? Hideyoshi-san, you mustn't rush, you know. It's alright, Rosa-san. Tell us at your leisure. Thank you. It was a day when I had been, scolded particularly harshly by mother. Are we gonna get flashback? Even though my tutor has promised to give you the secret, apparently they told mother all about how I hate complaint. Mrs. scored me horribly, saying that I was a disgrace to the Shiremiya family. Of course I was doing the best I could, but I had none of Kraus Nissan's dignity. I couldn't get excellent grades like Eva Nissan, and I had no leadership like Rudolf Nissan. I never stood out, didn't particularly excel at anything. Yeah, we don't care about this, just go straight to the business. And I almost wanted to ask myself why I had even been born into the Shiremiya family. I didn't know why I had been born. On that day, I had the experience of my mind going blank for the first time. For the first time since I was born, I realized that in addition of facing or surrendering to my problems, I had the third choice of running away. Even though I say run away, there is no way I could have left Rokijima and gone somewhere else. But anyway, I wanted to run away from the mansion and the way I was at the time. In a way, it was like run away from home or maybe half-hearted suicide. I wanted to disappear. Or maybe it was a childlike form of resistance where I tried to make my parents worry by disappearing. I thought childishly that if I went to the center of a forest, I could escape from the Shiremiya house. Or maybe I could get back at them by getting lost and making them worry. So then, you went to the forest that you've been not to go into? Yes. After reaching the beach, I followed alongside the ocean. I didn't have any particular reason, but I felt that If I went around to the opposite side of the island, there might be a place that no one knew about, which might become a hidden house just for me. Starting by the beach, it'd be impossible to go all the way around. It becomes a cliff pathway, right? There is no way you could pass that way. Of course. So I keep going where I could and keep going deeper and deeper in. It was a horrible forest without any path, but that was comforting for me. If I could make it through such a dangerous forest, then would be... meh? Then it would be that much greater of an escape to the Shiremiya family, which made me feel good. How shameful. If you were scolded because of your grades, all you had to do is work harder. You mustn't say that. Doesn't Rosa have her talent as a designer instead? Yeah, she's an art student, fuck off. Literally, this could be taken as him covering for Rosa, but everyone knew that Rosa's company was not making any profits. Could it? Now isn't the time for sarcasm. And then you arrived here by coincidence? Beatrice's hidden mansion. Rosa nodded quickly. Ooh. About how far did you walk? Could you show it us on the map? Natsuki-san, is there a map on the island? No, not here and now. That would be impossible. I was just walking randomly. Even if you show me a map, I wouldn't know. And 20 years have passed since then. I probably couldn't reach it again even if I went to the forest. Several people let out dejected signs. It was vividly clear in their haste. They had thought that some hint related to the witch's epitaph, or maybe even the gold itself, might be resting here in that hidden mansion. The only part of Rokujima that got made really by development in this era around the mansion. The rest is completely uncultivated, and it would probably take considerable effort to survey an entire island. But just knowing that it actually exists is helpful. It would take some money, but if we enlisted an aerial photography company to investigate, or ask the contractors who constructed this mansion about what happened at the time, we could probably find some way to search for it. Yes, there should be more ways to do it now that it isn't a question about whether it exists or not. It is probably worth investigating right away. We'll do that investigation together as siblings. We won't let you do it alone, Nissan. It wasn't certain that the gold was hidden in a secret mansion, but it seemed that the fireworks between Kraus and Eva has already begun. Do the rest for now, you two. Rosa, please continue. Yes. Psychors. Good name? Blindly, randomly, I keep running on and on. Suddenly, it felt like I had come across something like an animal trail. I had no idea how far I'd walked, and I was very tired. So by then, I was just naturally taking the easiest path to walk on. Ooh, new background. This song has like RPG vibes. JRPG. As I did, suddenly, right before my eyes, a very, very tall fence appeared. It was a fence wonderfully adorned in a Gothic style. For an instant, I spun around, thinking that I may have returned to the original mansion. Of course, there were fences around the mansion to stop up from entering the forest, but this fence was decorated differently, and most of it was very tall. It probably reached a full 2 stories up. It was covered with ivy and created a mysterious, solemn atmosphere. At the time, I believed the legend of a witch of a forest, Beatrice. I had been told that she was frightening, but some of your servants told me that she would sometimes help you if you respected her. Since I was starting to lose confidence in how my life was going, I believed that the only way I could be saved was by receiving her help. So that's what made me think of it. I believed that this was the fence of a mansion of Beatrice, the worst of the witch. The witch of a forest. I thought that If I could meet with Beatrice, she would definitely save me. So I thought I would try to go in. But the fence was very, very tall and it didn't look I could go over it. So I decided to walk around it. I thought that if I did, I would eventually reach the gate. But it wasn't that easy. The fence had a length to match its height, and no matter how far I went, I didn't reach the corner. It might have been enclosing a very massive area, or maybe it just fell that way because my child's legs made it difficult to walk in the forest. Anyway, because I couldn't find a gate for a while, I started to feel sad. I thought the witch had rejected me. As I did, I eventually came upon a large tree whose twisted roots had bent the fence. I might get my clothes dirty, but if I crawled, it looked like I would be able to sneak in. And that was the hidden mansion? I don't know whether it was hidden mansion we've been talking about. Still, at the very least, it wasn't a place that we known of. And you never told about it to anyone, ever? Really? This is dumb, Rosa. It wasn't as though I came out into the garden as soon as I passed the fence. I had to continue, though, through a lot more uncultivated forest after that. And then, the forest suddenly opened up, and what appeared here was an unbelievably fantastical scene. To think that Rokkenjima, where I had believed no one other lived than us lived, had been hiding in such a wonderful mansion. A beautiful flower garden spanned the front of the mansion. It was a flower garden of a completely different design from the rose garden we know so well, and was very lovely. Of course, the mansion was also wonderful. It was the one or two sizes smaller than ours, but it was very elegant and like a lovely mansion. Then I saw her. I saw her sitting in the garden chair, positioned to give a view of a flower garden, wearing an elegant dress. It was that black dress embodied in gold that we would later know from that portrait. I wasn't seen an elegant dress like this except in fairy tales and on the stage of musicals. What a person would be wearing it as a normal clothes, that in itself seemed quite fantastical. That magical scene was enough to make me lose my sense of reality. If someone had told me that it was a dream, I might have nodded obediently and walked to wake up in my bed. Since, in my shock, I had forgotten to hide myself, she eventually noticed me. At first her expression was quite listless, but then she noticed me, her eyes opened very wide. It was only natural, a guess that she didn't know had suddenly appeared. I automatically bowed my hand, feeling that I should greet her and apologize for entering without permission. Who are you? A new gardener? Those were the first words she said to me. They calmed me down a little bit, because I realized that she could be talked with. Because I hadn't been turned into a frog just by meeting her eyes, like the terrifying witch in a fairy tale. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have entered the garden without permission. Who are you? Name yourself. I'm Ushiramiya Rosa. Ushiramiya. Huh? So you're one of Kinza's family. Huh? Yes. I'm Kinza's daughter. Good afternoon. I was just a little surprised. After all, father was a great man feared by everyone. And she had referred to him without such honorifics. So she quickly became frightening. After all, if she could refer to the fearsome father that way, she must be a witch with incredible power. After staring at me curiously, she beckoned me to come over to her. And I obeyed, as though filled with belated trepidation. After all, I thought, I really must be turned to a frog. And the closer and closer I got, the stronger the fear became. After all, I said it several times already, but That woman in her dress in the forest garden in the mansion, that entire harmony was so fantastical and beautiful that it seems separate from reality. You live in a mansion yourself, by the way. It surely wouldn't have surprised me even if she was actually a witch. And I was truly lucky. She didn't turn me into a frog. As I awkwardly stood here, shocked still, she motioned to an open chair and urged me to sit down. Cute. Sit. Welcome and speaking to those who visit the garden for the first time is my only pleasure. Said, I have nothing else to find pleasure in. As she said this, she showed an unhappy smile for just an instant. Because I was so full of strange mix of tension and excitement, I rudely asked her a question suddenly. Are you the visitor of the forest, Beatrice? Indeed, I am Beatrice. As I thought, Beatrice really existed. Did she look just like the portrait? Yes, exactly like the portrait. So she wasn't just a witch from father's imagination. And then, what did you talk with her about? As she prepared some tea, she asked me various things about myself. First, she was surprised that I had come through the forest. It seems she believes that many dangerous wolves lived outside the fence. So when I told her I had reached this place by going through the forest, she was very surprised. She asked how I managed to escape from the wolves. Did I give him biscuits and they let me go? Or did I cover myself in a magic cloak? Or those kind of things, I think. Ha! That sure sounds like a witch. What an interesting person. Quite, honey. It was a long time ago, but didn't father threaten us, saying that wolves lived in the forest so we shouldn't get close to there? Yeah, there was a time like that. Ridiculous. Even though Japanese wolves went extinct long ago. What a childish trick. I don't remember though. Did that really tell us something like that? It was a witch of a forest, right? I don't think I've ever heard about wolves. You were still in elementary school, don't you remember? You actually went and replied that you wanted to try petting the wolves. So father immediately gave up the wolf story and changed it to the story about the witch. Such an obvious lies. Huh. At that time, the witch story had much more intimidated effect on your dog than the wolves. I remember it well. Don't you remember those nights when you would climb to my back? I see, even Rudolphson used to have a cute period. But oh, put a lid on it! I was just a kid! Well, anyway, if father was the one who shut Beatrice up in here, it makes sense that he would use the same wolf story. To him, the vast forest of Rakijima was a wall that shouldn't be crossed. Driving his two incompatible words, the Shiremiya family and his mistress mansion. If you think about the height of a fence, it doesn't seem that father had turned this whole area, garden and all, into a giant cell. Just like a national boulder driving his two separate words. Forget the wolves! Were there any kind of a stray dogs here at the time? It could have been a fence to protect against those, or not. There are no wolves or stray dogs in Rakijima. Just as Nisan and Kirisan saying, that fence was probably a border between us and Beatrice. However, if she innocently believes the story about the wolves, that's pretty naive. That's nothing like the way I'd imagine a witch. That's right, I also sensed that. She was very pompous? Just like my image of a witch, but she was somehow very childish and... how should I say it? Too honest? She gave me an impression that she didn't know anything about the world. If I had to describe it, it was almost as though she had come from a fairy tale land. She was a truly mysterious person. And what happened after that? Did you end up talking about that at all? Yes. Once every few days, something of an arranged day, and sometimes suddenly, father would appear casually and they would drink tea together or take a bath together or something, she said. After that, by coincidence, she was by herself on the day I visited. I see. Truly a mistress then. My. I don't know how much younger she was, but not bad, father. He literally kidnapped her. What the fuck are you talking about? I remain firmly convinced that it was no indecent relationship. Gosh, you are an idiot. There's no way a lover's meeting between a man and a woman wouldn't have some sensuality. What happened next? What did you talk about after that? Because I introduced myself, I then asked about herself. When I did, the atmosphere quickly grew depressing. How should I say it? She seems very listless and lonely. It was the same expression as the one I had first seen on her face. Well, that's because she was hidden mistress. It seemed just walking around wherever she liked, she might have been discovered by mother. I'm sure the situation was almost like a house arrest. Even though she had beautiful clothes, a beautiful mansion, and a garden, she must have felt very constrained. No surprise she felt it. She felt it hard. And then? There were definitely something in her mind. I remember getting the impression that it wasn't something that I could resolve just by talking to her, and feeling very sad about it as well. She seemed to have forgotten that I was here. She was gazing vaguely off the distance and was silent for a long time. I thought that I must have said something wrong, but it didn't seem to be the type of atmosphere that I could offer words of apology. So I too remained silent for a long time until she remembered that I was here. When she did, she muttered unexpectedly. Far. Are there really no wolves below the fence? Yes. I've never seen wolves even in a zoo. What is a zoo? It's a place where they keep all kinds of animals. They're full of rare animals like elephants and giraffes and pandas. Oh no, she doesn't know. Are there no wolves in a zoo? Then, that might not be scary. Even if there were wolves, all of the animals are put in cages, so it's safe. So you can feel safe as you look and learn about them. The witch of the forest, of all people, was for some reason scared of and didn't like wolves. I remember it looked pretty comical. How does it differ from myself? She didn't even know about the zoos. I explained how fun zoos could be, but it was very difficult to get a person like her who had never been to one to understand. Quite the opposite. As I explained it to her, her expression grew increasingly dim so. She couldn't see the difference. It seemed that although this mansion surrounded by a high fence appeared at a glance to afford her a completely provided for life of comfort, she couldn't see how she was different from the animals shut up in cages. So real? Who am I? Everyone called me Beatrice, and that does certainly seem to be the name of a great witch, as you say. But that is not me. I cannot use any magic. I simply have a soul of that witch sealed inside my body. There was definitely something mysterious about her. It wasn't just that she was somehow at odds with the world, but it seemed that she truly believed that a thing called magic actually existed. I think she talked about various weird things, but I don't remember the details. All I thought was, this might be a beautiful person. She was unable to leave this mansion of her own will, a prisoner, without even realizing it. And she didn't know anything about the outside world, didn't even understand who she was. She probably vaguely understood herself that she was beautiful. But since she didn't know anything, it seems she couldn't realize that this wasn't happiness. Nassan, long ago when I told you that I felt sorry for a bird in a cage, I remember you said this to me. A bird that only knows the inside of a cage doesn't long for the outside. But she wasn't a bird. She was, ultimately, a human. Even if she was never been outside of a cage, she understood that it wasn't the whole world. So, I invited her. Do you want to try going outside the fence? There really aren't any wolves? There aren't. You'll definitely be safe. I want to leave, but the gate is always closed. There's a place I came in though. There's a crack you can slip through. If you go here, is there a world outside? Yes. So really, aren't there any wolves? No, not at all. I had only planned to invite her for a short walk, but she kept looking over her shoulder and mentioned as though she was seriously deliberating over something. Then I learned that she was preparing herself for. I have had enough of this place. I want to go outside. And I want to know who I am and what happened in this world, and the purpose for which I was born. I didn't know what her life had been like until then. It was probably something that she couldn't express easily. Yeah, the catch gonna be that she can't go behind the fence, she's gonna disappear or something. If it was harsh, she just had to say that she wanted to escape. If it was sweet, she just had to say she would stay. To liken it to something. Perhaps it was similar to how hot fireplace on a winter day makes the air get thicker and thicker, giving you a headache. Even though you know that you shouldn't keep things the way they are, you still need the courage to open the window and be tormented by the cold wind. She was starting to realize that she couldn't stay here forever. She had started to realize that she had to go outside sometimes. But since she didn't know about the outside world, to take the first step outside must have required an unimaginable amount of courage. And she had taken that into consideration and resolved herself. She had put that resolution to go outside into the world for that was surely the first time in her entire life. I hesitated slightly. It has been decided that she would live here by father. It was as if she were father's beloved bird in cage. If I just let her escape, wouldn't I be harshly scolded by father? I want to see. See what? I want to see a zoo. I was just a little surprised when she finally showed me a very soft smile. That must have been an inner peace coming from her newfound readiness to venture out from her cage. A soft smile I wouldn't have imagined could have come out of the dark face. When I speak with you, I keep hearing about things I don't know. I don't know about the thing called school, not about zoos. I don't know about movie theaters. I don't know about amusement parks. What was this animal woman's who never ate a burger? What was all of them? Jesus Christ. All in those visual novels, and they all like real old women. Not an archetype I enjoy, to be fair. Please bring me back Beatrice that it's a bitch. I enjoyed this one much more. And I think from the bottom of my heart that I want to know about them. Will you take me here? Huh? Yes. I was nervous about how I would do it and keep it a secret from father, but her face looked so happy, so I went along with her and nodded. But it seems that the meaning behind my vague expression was not communicated to her. It seemed that she believed that I would really take her to all those places if we left. She was pure and genuine. She was probably never been tricked by anyone. No, maybe it should be said that she hadn't been taught how to doubt. Her face was somewhat radiant and yet pathetic. How the fuck Kinzo can be satisfied with this? Jesus Christ, no fucking taste or dignity at all. I wanted to somehow grant her modest wish. I had enough of Beatrice. I want to know who I am. I want to start out as a new human, not Beatrice. So I want you to take me from here. I don't need tea anymore. I don't need this dress. I don't meet with Kinzo again. Please take me from here. Rosa. However, that responsibility was one that a child such as me couldn't possibly bear fully. With her serious gaze and her brilliant smile, almost as though an evil spirit had lifted from her, made me feel a little courage to start to rise up inside myself. This was definitely something that would get me in a lot of trouble, but it was definitely the right thing to do. I don't know how it will turn out, but I'll take her out. Of course, I won't be able to ask help from father nor mother either. Should I talk to Onisama or Nesama? No, what about that reliable Genji-san? Or... That's right, what about Kumasawa-san, to whom I can always talk when I'm in trouble? I'm sure they'll be able to do something. Yeah, they not live in the fence. For sure. Anyway, for now, I'll take you out of here. Because this is no longer a place where she wished to be. And so, I took her to the crack in the fence and let her outside. She was all nervous, checking to make sure there is no wolves around. But after that fear disappeared. She seemed somehow to be having fun even just walking around the dense forest. Every time she found something, she would ask me about it. And they were all really minor things. What's that flower? What's that leaf? And the sound? What's that smell? It was really like the inside of a fence had been her entire world. So to her, who had stepped out of the world, this was... You know, it's strange. It was the beginning. When I first saw her, I thought that she was the absolute incarnation of a witch relaxing by a witch's mansion. But now it was different. Or actually, the complete opposite. She had gone out of a world she had gone out of a world she had believed to be finite, and was full of joy at realizing for the first time that this world was endless. So everything she saw was new. I was almost as though she was the one who'd been thrown into a fairy tale. If she was Alice, then I felt almost like a rabbit holding a watch. Oh my god! A rabbit mentioned? To her, it was probably a really fun walk filled to the brim with excitement. But as for me, the truth was, I was completely bewildered. After all, I had walked randomly to get here, so there was no way I could have known the way back to the mansion. There were no lights in the forest and I hadn't brought a flashlight. I realized that it would be terrible if if I got dark while we were still this and grew impatient. She was too innocent, and apparently she couldn't understand at how frightening it would be to face the night inside the forest. But I was the one who had brought her outside. Somehow I had to take responsibility and resolve the situation. So I thought that for now we should just go out to the sea. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. If we went walk the coast around, eventually we should definitely be able to make it back to the mansion. Real? True? This would be something I would do in this situation? However, that was much more of a problem than I had imagined. After all, I didn't have a map or a compass. There was no way I could walk in a straight line through the uncultivated forest, and I had immediately lost my sense of direction. I already had no clue which trail I'd come by, and was completely lost. At this rate, night would definitely fall before I even knew I was walking. But I didn't have the luxury to complain, because that woman following me behind was so innocent and having so much fun. Yeah, we get it! Therefore, for the sake of her smile, if nothing else, I absolutely had to guide her out of the forest. Gritting my teeth so that I didn't show her a troubled face, I pushed my way onwards through the pathless woods. Oh, here we go. And although we had various troubles, we were lucky enough to make it to the sea. At that time, I still didn't even have a clue where I was on the island, but for the time being, I was just a little reassured, realizing that if I just went around this way, I would surely be able to return to the mansion. Of course, although I said that we reached the sea, we were on the top of a rocky cliff. The beach was far below us. Excuse me? Sorry? I need to answer this quickly. Sorry about that. I was tired from walking around the forest for so long, so I thought that even though I was in a rocky beach, an open area would probably be much easier to walk in. So I planned to somehow go down the rocky cliff. It did look pretty dangerous, and I wondered if there was some other way. Though Beatrice agreed with my plan without any doubt. even though she was probably older than me. She obeyed me truly, obediently, almost as though she were some kind of chick who believed that I was a bird mother. Cute. I searched to see if there wasn't some place where I could go down the cliff. Then I found a place where the cliff was crumbled into a slope. It looked a little dangerous, but if I went down on both hands and both legs, like I was crawling, I thought it would probably be okay. Let's go down here. It'd be dangerous if you aren't careful, but for now, if we go down to the beach and walk along it, I think we can avoid getting lost anymore. If you will do that, then let's go. I find this getting lost to be fun also. I'm very happy. She really had no sense of danger. There was probably no mistake that she had lived a life without discomfort, even though she knew it would get dark when night fell. She wouldn't imagine how dangerous the inside of a forest could be without a light. Furthermore, it seemed that she couldn't grasp at all how dangerous it might be if she fell from the cliff. I warned her once more to be careful. I cautiously examined the place where we could go down. It looked pretty high up. I think it might have been about 10 meters down. If you look at it from the bottom up, it would probably have looked shorter than a roof in a mansion. But looking from the top, it felt almost like staring down from the Tokyo Tower's observation room. But Beatrice still appeared to be completely without fear. It felt as though she had never even been taught that high places were dangerous. No, maybe she truly believed that she was a witch and she could fly, so there wasn't anything dangerous. Please be careful. It's pretty high. I will be careful. I see there's a beach if we go down here. Is there an aquarium here? No, there is no aquarium on this island, but I think there are a lot of fish in the sea. I see. So there are fish. And there are whales and dolphins and penguins like you talk about? No, you would have to go to an aquarium for those. And there aren't many aquariums unless you leave this island. Is that so? But I look forward to it. What kind of fish are whales? They're really big fish and... Aren't they mammals? And they spit out seawater. Then the dolphins? They're really smart fish and... Aren't they also mammals? They're really smart and they can be taught tricks and stuff. Then what about penguins? Weren't they birds? What's this? Did you say that there were fish in the aquarium? You see, there isn't only fish, they're full of all kinds of things that live in the ocean. I am really looking forward to that. She made, some might have described it as a funny, rushed in a short voice. No, probably it was a scream, I think. She suddenly made a sound like that. Her body separated from the cliff and gently fell down. I immediately thought to say to her, "How many times did I warn you to be careful?" It was the thought of a child. It was how a child immediately gets mad when something happened, trying to show that they are not at fault. Of course I said it too. Are you alright? How many times did I warn you? Uh-oh. This is such a fucked up situation. Jesus Christ. This is like fucking Edith Finch type of shit, type of writing for some reason. I don't know. So, after she fell from a cliff, what happened? What happened to her? Rosa. Rosa fell silent. Her gaze fell to her feet as though she was seeing through the floor to some disgusting memory. She died, right? Eva's brutal words were the ones that Rosa had most wanted to avoid. And then she was hit with them. She screamed in resignation. Yes, she died! It was a rocky beach, many sharp and dangerous rocks lay exposed. Her eyes were still open and blood kept pouring out. Suddenly a red carpet was spreading out. I spoke to her, shook her, but she refused to respond, not even blink. No, she wouldn't even close her eyelids. It was my fault. She was wearing a dress, remember? Even though I knew that her outfit was difficult to move in, I said we should go down the cliff. She was incredibly innocent, so she obeyed what I said without any doubts. How long do you plan to remain dead? Open your eyes immediately. Honestly, just turn into a lump of meat without me. Oh, Butler died. I forgot about this. I was just flirting with your friend's sexy-ass chick. More importantly, what is all this? Hmm? It is as you see. I missed my footing, fell down, and died. What did you say? Even though you appeared as an 18th person, you say you died? Don't mess with me. That can't be. Auntie Rosa was a kid and she was panicking. It's not like there were doctors. She probably made a mistake thinking you were dead, and you probably, were in a state of apparent death or something, but actually alive, right? It can't be. She's obviously alive. Otherwise, she wouldn't be here in front of me, right? That completely contradicts how Rosa acted in the last chapter, isn't it? That's weird. Was the story specifically, like, curated for this chapter, or what? The kid-aged Auntie Rosa was shaking Beatrice's body, crying. I too stared into that face, but her eyes were still open, and it really was a corpse. I wanted to brush it off, something vague, like a state of apparent death, but from any angle, there was nothing apparent about it. She really didn't look anything but dead. Beatrice had fallen upside down from a cliff of that height, and her head had smashed against the pointed tip of those sharp rocks. You would die, wouldn't you, from that height on those rocks? But I can't accept it. No matter how dead she looks, she has to be alive. And she became this dumb, irritating witch. This way, all of the inconsistencies fit. She's been confined by grandfather in the hidden mansion the whole time. And then to avenge herself, she planned out her revenge and would go on to commit a number of atrocious murders. Auntie Rosa probably just mistakenly thought that she was dead, but she was really alive, and as soon as Auntie Rosa left, she miraculously started breathing again. And then she somehow lived until today and would open the curtain of a scene of her revenge. Otherwise, the facts don't fit together. I won't let you trick me so easily. Can you repeat it in red? That she died for certain. She has to be alive, right? It's obvious. How does that look like? How does that look like being alive to you? She's definitely dead. My theory is that the 18th person of grandfather's mistress, who was a human Beatrice, broke down. I thought I had managed to siege from defensive position into a counterattack, but then who are you? No, the question was who is she? Who was she? Like, this is Beatrice, who gives a fuck about her? You just died this very minute. You aren't going to say that you revived yourself with magic, are you? I think that I already explained it though. The me that is lying over here definitely has my soul, but that body was nothing more than a cage of flesh tying me to the physical world. And the cage of flesh was thus broken. Do you understand what that means? I don't have a clue anymore. Keep having fun with your witch girl talk. Isn't it so cute when he says this? I listen instead of eating a cookie. It's empty. Hey, could I get some more black tea? Run off! Our guest wants some black tea! And Beata clapped her hands, Renov appeared. Butler's shoes are convenient. A refill, is it? Certainly. How much shall I pour you? Well, I've got more than enough to to go with. Uh-oh. Half will be fine. Half will be fine. Feeling it to the brim regardless is the English custom. Even though just enough to wet my throat would have been fine, it filled it to the top with tea. Why the fuck would you ever fill your cup only half for tea? This is weird. Sorry, hold on. Oh, good one. Actually, good one. Even though just enough to wet my throat would have been fine, he filled it to the top with tea. I turned my back to Beatrice, sipping it in silence. Wait! Open your eyes! Beatrice! Rosa shook me. No, shook the corpse that had once been me. I watched over her form a short distance away. So I fell from here and I died. I believed that this was true for a while. After that, I saw Rosa and spent a lot of time beside my corpse, then watched her as she ran away. Eventually, I realized that I was a different individual from the corpse. That's right. I am me. So I have finally been able to escape from Kinza's restrictions. Eventually, I felt the memory returning. The fact that I was an endless witch who has lived for 1,000 years. And then I remembered that I had become summoned by Kinza and for a long time had been imprisoned by him. While I had been imprisoned in a cage of flesh, I had completely lost my memory as a witch. However, thanks to Rosa, if you could say that, thanks to my accidental by fortunate death, I had now finally brought myself together. Rosa, you're probably regretting that you brought about my death, but as for me, I could even thank you. Rosa was already nowhere to be seen. She has gone to call a doctor after she escaped from a scene which has become frightening. That no longer matters. That soulless shell is no longer worth anything. All that aside, how frail I am now. Even this glorious midday sun is agony to me now. I destroyed my human form. Then I changed it to several golden butterflies. Yes, with my magic power as frail as it now, this form is easier. This chapter is long. And to escape even a little from the light of the sun, I rode the wind and lightly passed over the cliff. It will probably be somewhat cooler in the forest. Anyway, I'll take some time to recuperate and regain my original power. As I think of how I will pay Kinza back from all that he had done. Dancing alone through the air, I looked down at the shore one more time. On the rocky shore lays a figure I had once possessed, and that I would eventually regain. To regain the form of that physical body I have thrown away, it will probably take more time than 100, 200 days. Oh, days, okay. It might even require 1,000 days, or maybe even more. However, I am the Endless Witch. The Golden Witch who has lived for 1,000 years. Waiting any countable numbers of days is no problem at all. Oh, Kinza, you may regret that you are not here now. No longer will you be able to capture me. Pretty good segment. Pretty good. Beatrice lore. Uh-oh. Oops. Okay, sorry. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. And then you changed the girl butterflies, hid into a forest, and waited for your magic power to be restored? Is that what you're saying? That is correct. I take this form to sneer at you, but normally it is easier magically for me to keep my form as a golden butterflies. Don't stress yourself and stay in this easy form. I wouldn't mind not hearing your irritating laugh. When I turned to butterflies and slipped into the forest, it was already no longer possible for Kinza to find me. However, Kinza was not about to stand here doing nothing. Still, he would be unable to immediately prepare a way to catch me. Therefore, he first moved immediately to prevent me from leaving this island, and to keep me from regaining my power. My, all I can say is that Kinza's tenacity does defy the imagination. It is pretty tough to be loved by someone like that. A way to keep you from leaving after becoming butterflies? What, did he put a bug net around the entire forest? Indeed, he did the magical equivalent. Did you know? On the sea in front of the harbor floats a reef on which sits a small shrine of Eastern magic. That. It was gone this year, though. There was a small shrine built long ago by a mountaineering ascetic, right? This island was originally an islet of distortions. Magical beings and other beings of a similar ilk were attracted to it. Mother herself was one of them, I imagine. How about some more tea? Please. Then they did harm to humans and probably left several eerie legends behind them. That small shrine was built in ancient times by an Eastern mage who heard of them. A long time passed and that power was lost. By repairing it, Kinza restored this island's barrier and once again tied me to this island. Can Eastern magic work on a Western witch like you? Normally the affinity is poor, however, for the purpose of sealing me here, in a way, it might have been suitable. If it was Western magic, I would have some knowledge. For any barrier, there would have been some measures that could be taken, but Eastern magic is outside my area of expertise. It was as if it had been given chopsticks instead of a spoon for some soup I was trying to eat. I love this. I love when people say this. I love if people use, like, chopsticks metaphors. Those are funny as hell. In a space strongly controlled by Eastern magic, Western magic loses much of its power. It would likely have taken her 1,000 years to regain her power, even under normal circumstances, and now it would take her much, much longer. So you're trying to say that it took you 20 years to regain your power, and now you are revived, like this? Those were horribly long years. I spent many days in the form of a golden butterflies, found Kinza's mansion and watched over him every day. I lived through those days with no means to enjoy myself except to ponder how I would get back at him. Was it fortunate for me? What was fortunate for me was that during those 20 years, Kinza tried to use every magic to find and capture me, and failed in them all. A human cannot bring miracles very many times. Even simply holding me captive for that long had been a miracle far above his place. It would be unthinkable for me to be captured like that multiple times. Grandfather said something in the previous game. It was something like magic dwells in probabilistic miracles. While Kinza searched for a hidden art to capture me again, he ended up at that. Then he finally worked out the ritual involving the offering of 13 sacrifices to revive me again. 13 sacrifices. That's the witch's epitaph. It's a poem of sacrifices. 6 people for the first twilight, 2 people on the second twilight, and then 5 more people on the 4th through 8th twilights. A forbidden ritual involving the offering of a total of 13 people as sacrifices. Those sacrifices are chosen randomly, and the one holding the ritual, Kinza himself, is not an exception. You're out of your mind. Are you saying that all of the gruesome murders that occurred on this island were all part of a weird ritual? Huh? You didn't know that, Butler? Really? I was vaguely thinking that this might be a possibility. Really? But I can't just hear that this is the truth from a witch and a demon says, oh, really? And accept it. There are 18 people under Kejima. 13 are sacrificed, only 5 are left alive. Then I revive. In other words, the odds that Kinza will be able to meet me again are probably around 1/3. He bet his own life on those odds. Wishing for a reunion with me for the last bit of his remaining life. You're saying he gathered our family for the sake of this fucked up ritual? Butler, like, what the fuck? We picked up on this, like, the first thing first. Why are you so slow? I mean, you're a kid, but still. Oh yeah, really fucking funny. Don't say stuff like that, damn it. It was accounting to the contract from the beginning. Then Kinza's life ended. All the gold I had lent in, and all of the assets that Kinza has created, were to be received by me. Kinza put me through a nightmarish ordeal, but thinking back on it now, it was an extraordinary period, even amid the past 1,000 years. After all, the natural enemy of the witch is boredom. To Kinza, who offered me a chance to run away from that for several decades. Yes, considering that among the other things, I might have a slight debt to him. Baby, you need to have better self-esteem. What the fuck is this? What are you talking about? He literally, like, captured you and held you in captivity. And times after times fucking continue to be mean to you even though you said no to him. What the fuck? You should not say that to him. I decided to go along with Kinza's game. And so, first off, Kinza returns to me the Shinomiya family headstring. It is the house revived by my gold, you see. And they choose 13 people arbitrary as sacrifices. And as that unfolds, you people are thrown into total confusion and show me various aspects of the fabric of human relationship as you stand against me, which gives me a great pleasure. I really do like this game of Kinza's. What if Butler solve the epitaph of the gold here in like metaverse or whatever he's... I definitely won't believe in that kind of magic story. Then who are you? You fell off a cliff and died, damn it. Your soul slipped out, became butterflies, and went to the forest? It's all loads of bullshit. But you are here. Who are you? Aren't you the 18th person? This is true. I am surely am an 18th person. But it's no good, I'm afraid. That's no goddamn good at all. Again? There is no more than 18 humans on this Arkejima. What did you say? So you're saying the X of the 18 plus X doesn't exist? Are you saying the piece of that they took, the X, doesn't exist? That is what it means. You have my condolences. However, milady, you truly are a fast worker. I thought you would let him flounder around a little more before turning everything over the head. Well then, Butler-sama, would some more tea be agreeable to you? I don't want any, damn it! I don't believe! The culprit can't be one of the 18! Then, what the hell are you? Why are you here? If the 18th person doesn't exist, then why are you saying you're one of the 18 in disguise? For you, although you are reluctant to use it, doubling one of the 18 will serve a final escape route, much like casting. However, for me, the hard part is just beginning. You need only throw away appearances, and you can prepare a culprit freely among the 18 people. finding the route through those 18 pieces in order to checkmate you and force you to accept me will be truly difficult. Like hell I do that. I won't doubt any of the 18. I don't want to doubt. Have I really been cornered here again? Damn it, damn it, damn it. It looked like my game with you, which has lasted 3 rounds, is finally entering the endgame, doesn't it? We have 1 more chapter, and then 4 more chapters after this. I don't know what you're talking about, baby. There's nowhere to run anymore, you know? You don't want to doubt any of those beloved people in 18s, right? I can take that burden from you if you want. And yet, why do you refuse me? They say you should play the opening like a book, the middle game like a magician, and the end game like a machine. I'll corner you from here on. Slowly. Carefully. Surely. Or, on the other hand, would it be better if it pleased? If I pressed you all at once, as would be fitting for you? That should suit you. Let's do that. I already have a thoughtful knowledge of which methods of attack you cannot handle. Nah, I don't like it. This is kinda dumb. Oh, this is it? Are we ready for sacrifices? Okay. Like, Beatrice still could be lying to you in the red text. Hi. Jesus Christ. Butterfly. More dialogue? No, good bless. Who's gonna die first? Who's gonna die first? Eva probably not gonna die. Eva gonna survive this game. Because it's like Eva chapter. Are we... When is Eva gonna become a witch or something? Is this gonna be this time? This would be weird if witch just appeared. Where's Federica? Federica said she's gonna help us. Why we didn't see her even once? Where is... Not Federica, where is Lambda Delta? Lambda Delta. Where is she? Oh, those two are here. I mean, I'm looking at Beatrice right now, but whatever. Hi! Hi, Beatrice. Those are long sequences. Umineko no nako koro ni. Chapter 3, investigation time! The beginning of the ritual. What are these chapter titles? Those are bad. Those are boring. Straight to Kinzo? Now then. How will the game be resolved this time? You may submit, and you may resist. Either way, it will truly be entertaining by cat worth being... betting my shot remaining life on. What do you mean this time? In his dimly lit study, which was occasionally brightened by lightning, Kinzo kept mumbling to himself, laughing to himself. On the antique clock, there was an intricate design that was sitting on the desk. The two overlapping hands had begun to tilt to the right and separate from one another. The passage of time that had counted to 24 had returned to 0 and begun to start counting again. Rose. The passage of time is a brutal thing. It drags itself all the way to 24 of the course of day and then returns back to 0. It's not how time works, but okay. It surely managed to count to 23:59. However, was it ever able to reach 24? If you believe that it returns to 0 again without reaching it, how futile it seems. No, is that not the same as a person's life? You live, aiming for a perfect 24, and in an instant you reach it, you return to 0. People may praise the departed, saying that they did reach 24, but that is absolutely not 24. It is nothing more than 0. I am different. I will reach 24 alive, because that itself is a golden land. That is Beatrice's dwelling. Kinza has been fumbling around with some tarot cards for some time, really. It looked as though he was trying to divine his own luck, his own purposefully for victory, and doing it over every time he didn't like the result. Based? The most forbidden action of tarot is reading it to try to predict the same thing twice. It is desecration to the result of the fortune-telling, and also desecrates the existence higher than humans, which delivers signs to the tarot cards. However, Kinzo knew. The reason the tarot cards shouldn't be used twice was that since it was nothing more than a random number generator, it was natural that if you read them twice, a different result would appear. Therefore, reading twice was only forbidden to perceive the mystique of a tarot card's results. However, that didn't mean that Kinzo didn't take tarot reading seriously. Kinzo is astrology girly, Jesus Christ. Kinzo's interpretation of tarot's reading was done in a completely different way. That was to repeat the reading over and over until he reached the result most favorable to him, without the slightest amount of compromise. It would depend on how he determined the results more favorable to him, but if he demanded the best results in a strict sense, it would be the same as simple roulette of luck, where he sought an arithmetic miracle. Does he know that the day is repeating? However, to Kinzo, who made miracles of numbers the basis of his magical power, this could become very much like a magic ritual. In other words, until the result he desired appeared perfectly, he would repeat the tarot reading over and over, turning his labor, conviction, and the feelings of his heart into prayer, so that when it reached heaven, the result would be sublimated. Sublimated? This was Kinzo's personal magic interpretation. Based? Therefore, even though the tarot cards Kinzo used were exactly the same as generally used tarot cards, the way they were used was completely different. A second. Oops. We're only in 2 hours. Tonight, it refuses to go my way. Kinzo stopped his hands for a second. It seems the result he expected wasn't showing up. On the contrary, many bad cards that shouldn't often appear were appearing repeatedly, and continuing to interfere with the miracle Kinzo wished for. Is that how it is? It seems that Kinzo had taken some kind of sight from this abnormal course of events, but judging by the unlucky cards scattered over the deck, it was difficult to imagine that the sight has been a good one. Kinzo just took a tarot... how is it called? All the tarot cards, pull out all the cards that you don't like, and, you know, use the other cards to predict your future. For a while, Kinzo closed his eyes tightly, pondering something. Then, as he turned and wrote, he made up his mind about something, took the telephone receiver, and dilated. It is I. Is Genji here? It is urgent. In In front of the main entrance, Shannon was cooling her flushed face in the frigid air. She had thought that George's proposal would surely come sometime. It wasn't as if her heart had been unprepared, and she had nodded at the answer. Had she been reckless because of her youth? Should she have thought about her future more seriously? She found herself worrying that she might have thought of her as a cheap girl because of her immediate reply, Jesus Christ. Really? I mean, he proposed you and you're in love with him. Okay, I need a second. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Um... Oh, it's so messy in my working table. It's so messy. I hate when stuff are messy. Can it be fine? Ouch. She found herself worrying that he might have thought of her as a cheap girl because of her immediate reply. Perhaps at least holding off until tomorrow morning would have been given the impression of thinking more seriously. Now that she had already received the ring from George, she kept fidgeting in embarrassment, thinking she should have done this, should have done that. As she did, she heard the sound of her footsteps coming towards her, splashing through the puddles. Is it Eva? Shannon immediately chased after the emotions welling up inside her. Nianji-sama? Karan-kun too! I'm sorry. I'm not coming back right away. She grew stiff, thinking that she would surely be scolded for spending too much time in her secret lovers' meeting with George. Shannon, the master has told us to come to the study urgently. Let us hurry. Huh? Yes, certainly. What in the world? He said he had an ominous premonition. How selfish, when he was the one who chose to start the ritual. We will enter from the back so that Goda doesn't notice us. Are your footsteps? Yes. Nessan, take care. You're so noisy. Kanan was especially good at hiding his presence. Like he was a cat. He was able to suddenly be here without anyone noticing and leave in the same way. So even if he were here to step in a puddle, the sound he would make would be far smaller than that of a rain hitting the puddles. Genji was also had that ability. Well, in the first place, that was how the servants were supposed to be, even going by the name of a furniture. Just like how desk and closet go unnoticed by members of family. The servants also treated being able to show up unobtrusively when they needed to as a greatest virtue. Whatever. In that sense, Shannon's footsteps still strongly asserted themselves. She was also trying to hide her footsteps, but compared to Karan and Genji, well, you could say she was a little more lively. Eventually they reached the back door and the three of them entered the mansion. Immediately, they thought they felt something. It wasn't quite the sense of smell, rather they felt it from the depths of their noises. And this hard-to-describe sensation, which you might call a sixth sense, allowed them to perceive that something was different than usual. Genji-sama. Yes, we must hurry. The perception caused them to feel that something tense was closing in on them. Realizing that, the three of them dashed up the stairs, aiming for Kinza's study and hiding their footsteps. Oh no, they're gonna die first? How many people died in the first night? 5 or 4? Ronban? Tips? On the first toilet, 6. Okay. Then they dashed up the stairs. The smell of sweet poison, particular to Kinza's study, reached their noises. What is it? What is it, Genji-sama? The barrier is dead. Huh? After hearing Kanon, she looked at the door to the study. A scorpion pattern was engraved at the doorknob, a powerful magic repellent. The final barrier which protected Kinzo himself. It had been broken. Who broke it? Of course, there was no change to the doorknob that the eye could see. However, they who could understand things that people couldn't perceive were able to recognize their magic change. My lord! My lord! It is Genji. Please open the door. Genji called in this way after knocking several times, but there was no answer from the study. Shannon, protect our backs. Kanan, search inside the room. Yes! Kanan put his ear against the door, searching for a presence inside the study. To protect the backs of those two who were watching the door, Shannon faced the other way, with her back to them, preparing for the unexpected. The master is here, I believe. However, it's too quiet. Then he's safe? No, it is too quiet. It couldn't be. My lord, excuse us about the door. Genji pulled the golden key out of his pocket. It was the only key to the study that existed, other than the one Kinzo held. He stuck it into the keyhole and turned it heavily. At a glance, that would have indicated that it really was a strong lock. However, the fact that the barrier has been destroyed meant that this door had long been wide open for anyone with magical power. The lock made a heavy sound, indicating that the door had been opened to humans as well. Excuse me. Genji respectfully bowed his hand, and Kanan's sense of tension grew tighter, and Shannon acted nervous. They entered the study. They immediately discovered Kenzo's figure. He was sitting in reception sofa so that his back faced them. Genji noticed the person sitting across from him and again bowed deeply. Oh, she's here. Kanan also noticed this person, and he didn't bow his head. He went in front of Shannon and spread both arms, blocking the way to her. So without even seeing the person's face, Shannon already had a good idea who it was. So you have come, Beatrice-sama. Genji, is it? You came very quickly. Yes, it is better than furniture answers its master call quickly. Very different from this person. So, Renov-sama has come as well. Oh, Genji knows him? Genji directed his gaze towards the thin darkness behind and to the right of Beatrice, where nothing appeared to be. Even Kanan and Shannon could have imagined that someone would be here. However, the darkness answered immediately and praised Genji's eyesight. As usual, you don't disappoint. It's been quite some time. Dear me, you have gotten old, haven't you? Have you really reached that age? I have lived a full life. It appears that your life has grown to be even more full, Renov-sama. Yes, thank you. And Shannon, it has been a long time since I last saw you as well. You have grown quite beautiful, and it seems that you have grown quite strong. It's good to see. Thank you very much. Nessan, who in the world? Yeah, how the fuck they know each other? This will be the first time I have met you, Kanan-kun. I have been entrusted with the position of Beatrice-sama head furniture. My name is Renov. I am an old friend of Genji-san's. I'm also furniture, like you. Although the master itself is different. The color of tension didn't appear from Kanan's expression in the slightest. Serving under a different master, furniture could become kind, brutal, or anything else as desired. If he called himself furniture serving the hated Beatrice, then surely he was a despicable being as well. Based? It seems to be completely despised. It's as though you hate everything to do with me. Beatrice openly sneered at Kanan's hate-filled face. Then Kanan finally observed. Beatrice and Kinzo were enjoying a chess game, sitting and facing reception sofas. But Kinzo hadn't even quivered. He was holding his head with both hands, his eyes closed tight as he contemplated his next move. No, was he in anguish? My lord, I have told Kinzo two things. There was good news and bad news. The good news that he would have the fortune of being returned with me before the ritual even ends. The bad news was that Kinzo had been selected for the very first sacrifice of the ceremony. Yeah, based. Then there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, because it truly had decided by the fickle roulette. Liar. You just take pleasure in killing people. Stop it, Karan-kun! So, Kinzo, isn't it about time you decide to accept your loss? Like this, our long-lasting contest resolved, right? At a glance, you couldn't tell the concentration on the chaotic chessboard. However, judging from Kinzo's anguish and Beatrice's malicious relaxedness, it looked as though it was already decided. It is unavoidable. Is this also entertainment? It is to me too, considering my contest with you may bring a flood of emotions, but it has already suppressed love and hate. It was fun. Several decades weren't that boring. Beatrice advanced her queen and made her final move. It was thus decided. Checkmate. This is final tribute from me to you. Without reverse, sleep. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. Kinzo suddenly stood up and laughed like an opera singer facing a full crowd and spreading his arms, as though he succeeded in a century-long plan. Whoa. What the fuck? This is cool. That laugh spot crimson. Crimson flame poured out from inside him. Look at this. This is cool graphic. This is cool that they came up with this. The repeating sound is pretty bad, but whatever. Crimson flames poured out from inside him, spitting even out of his mouth, ears, and nose, and all at once, his body was wrapped in hellfire. But Kinzo kept laughing. The more he laughed, the more the hellfire spewed from his entire body and began to char him. Those flames became a brilliant light, which dazzlingly shone onto various magic tools throughout the room and made a distorted shadow dance across the walls. Those shadows looked like the dead in hell, in ecstasy over Kinzo as he burned. And for one who had made a contract with a witch, and who had reached the end of that contract, it was extremely fitting end. After laughing and howling in a room in flames for some time, Kinzo flopped to the ground as though he was a puppet whose strings has been cut. Those incredible blazing flames disappeared as though they had burned up everything here to burn, and afterwards all that was left was a feasting and burned bodies that would make you want to avert your eyes. Is this how he died in the first chapter? I wonder. Horrible. You should talk, even though you think that was a fitting way for him to die. Why have you shown yourself? Do you have some business with us? Stop it, Karan-kun. You must not provoke Beatrice-sama. It appears that you have completely terrified them. It seems I can't get along with Kanan. A pity. I must say I quite like him myself. Beatrice smiled broadly, or perhaps wickedly. Kanan violently averted his gaze, obviously disturbed. His reaction was so different from what he had obviously intended that it made the witch and her butler laugh. Kanan, you stand in presence of Beatrice-sama. Carefully consider your manners or speech. Oh, there is no problem, Genji. Let him say as he likes. I am gracious. How are you gracious? I am always gracious to those who are about to die. Kanan was brought to sudden realization by creepy laughter. Beatrice's reason for being here was not just to take Kinzo's life. The first twilight required 6 sacrifices. Kinzo alone wasn't nearly enough, and they had just nonchalantly come to this place. Don't worry, Kanan. You won't be selected as a sacrifice just because you came here. It was because you were selected as a sacrifice that you were called here. What? They instinctively figured it out immediately. 6 sacrifices were required for the first twilight. After Kinzo, how many more would you need to lie up to 6? And as mentioned, the number 5 instantly made them think of a number of servants here. What about Gora? Is that what you desire? Thank me, furniture. Your days of suffering have tonight finally come to an end. You should thank me, as I have come to tell you this. Certainly. If that is your desire. Genji-sama! Genji agreed to the witch's heartless announcement in his usual manner, without raising his eyebrow. After the master death, Beatrice-sama is our master. Answering her demands is our final duty. Shannon, Kanan, you have done well serving until today. That hard work is now over. As I expected from you, Genji. How the fuck? Stretching. How the fuck? Shannon knows Rona. As expected of you, Genji. As fellow furniture, I think honorably of you. Shannon, do you have any objections? No. I heard that George-sama gave you a ring. Even so, you have no regrets? No. That blessing was more than furniture deserves. Just receiving the ring was already fulfilled my feelings. Oh, really? Shannon had not yet reached as high of a philosophical state of mind as Genji. There probably really were regrets left in her heart. She probably wanted to spend a little more warm time with a person of her thoughts, George. But she released herself for that. She took a single deep breath, and from that point on, the expression she wore was blank. Very good. For Mocha Morning! Go watch for Mocha Morning? Is this in half an hour? I'm a little surprised that you have been able to calm yourself this much, Shannon. It seems that you have also come to terms with things as furniture. Won't you at least shed some bitter tears for not being able to spend a night with the man you love? What a boring woman. These feelings cannot be understood by the likes of you, Beatrice-sama. If you desire our lives, please accept them. We will solemnly carry out that duty. Good. Well said. Just the type of person Beatrice-sama is bad with. Recently, this one has become quite detached. It seems that I tortured her too much last time. Oh, so it did! Okay. So it did somehow affected them. Speaking of which, didn't I do the same to Butler? Am I still soft? Or is my style of cornering them lacking? In any case, she's just no fun. However, it seems that you will stand to tame me, right? Kanan? Kanan-kun. Compared to the two who had attained a philosophical state of mind, there was a painful anguish in Kanan's face. Kanan was still far too young to accept his demise without regrets, after being told of it by a suddenly appearing witch. Kanan, I detest boredom more than anything. And it isn't interesting than those who have obediently accepted their death, so I don't want you to betray my expectation. Are you trying to make me your plaything? Kanan realized that he was being provoked. However, no matter how much anger spurred him on, his opponent was a witch. He was furniture. He had no chance of victory from the beginning. But the witch was expecting that he would struggle in vain and writhe around, and was looking forward to it. Just thinking about that was frustrating enough to get his blood boiling. I can't believe that Rosa didn't mention that she saw Beatrice before. How could she not do it? This is insane. This is huge. Plot point? Plot hole? Plot hole. This is called plot hole. Jesus. Just thinking about it was frustrating enough to get his blood boiling. What's disappointing the witch by refusing to resist, like the other two? The only way he could strike back at her? Back at her? Back at her? Back at her? Eldest of the seven sisters of purgatory, Lucifer, arise. Lucifer's a proud, right here! Kanan, it would be too cruel to force furniture to fight a witch. No matter how much anger springs you on, you could hardly hope for a battle you have no chance of winning. Of course, a battle without a chance of succeed would be boring for me as well. So, furniture against furniture. Why not resolve it in a battle between furniture? That would be enough to allow you some hope for victory, right? With all due respect, Beatrice-sama, it is truly possible that I could yell to this good-for-nothing furniture? As if this cute kid would have any chance in hell against me. Show me that you can defeat my furniture of the 7 stakes of purgatory. If you manage to come out the admirable victor. Let's see. I will let you free choice over the 5 people who will escape becoming one of the 13 sacrifices. I will unconditionally welcome the 5 people you recommended into the Golden Land. How about that? Karen understood that he was being provoked. However, the witch's condition was very tempting. The evil ritual the witch and the rest were trying to carry out was, at this point, not something that Karen cared about in the slightest. On the contrary, it was much more important for him to survive, be invited to the Golden Land, and have his wish granted by Beatrice here. You cried that you had enough of being furniture, right? I shall grant you desire. I shall give you the human body which you wanted so much as you cried yourself to sleep. What do you say? Then you could be together with Jessica, right? Right? Fuck. Oh, just perfect. You may include Jessica and yourself in the 5 you recommended for invitation to the Golden Land. If you have some hesitation towards making yourself happy, then you can add Shannon and her loved one, George, as well. If you're worried about duty, then you can also add Genji. Huh? That's 5 people. Just enough room, Kanan. Which is much of a reward. You won't let me get bored, will you? She's just playing with you. There is no need to listen to her. I'm sick of it. Is it really what you want, Nissan? Patricia couldn't hide her evil smile at those words. I'm sick of it. I want to be happy. I had enough of being furniture. I want to become human and have a normal love. I want to know that the ocean is blue, like you. Oh, Yan, I'm jealous. That's why I like the young ones. Genji, Shannon, stay back. Kanan, Lucifer, forward. As you command. I don't like it. You know you can win against Beatrice-sama, but you look down at me as though you might be able to win against me. I really don't like it. It was probably humiliating to Lucifer. But at the same time, she was also happy that she was so lucky to have this lovely prey all to herself. Come, furniture of the witch. Don't think that you can look down on me forever. Ooh. Split screen. Pew 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 pew. She's mad. Come now, butler. It is time for another fun show. Damn, it's turned into something ridiculous again. Like I'd ever accepted this magic battle. Look, don't turn your eye away. Look at it. Look. It's magic. It's furniture. No matter how much you try to deny me and magic. Look. All this bang, ka-ching, ka-chan, right in front of your eyes is what all nothing. It was all for nothing, right? Look. Stop thinking already. I told you magic exists. I told you this is fantasy. Don't close your eyes. Look closely. Look. Damn it. I won't accept witches. I won't accept magic. But if it's as obvious as this, what the hell I meant to say? Damn, 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 damn. Come now, don't turn away, look closely, alright? Magic exists, it's fantasy, stop playing detective. I know all about it, the truth is you're awful at thinking about things, right? What? I know all about it, the truth is you're awful at thinking about things, right? Just stop, just stop. Look, 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 obvious fantasy, obviously fantasy. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. There's such children. Ooh, film ratio for a second here. This guy got enough sense. Get down on the ground right now and apologize for being so conceited that you thought you'd at least beat me. If you'll do, I'll spare you, alright? I'll spare you from having your skin ripped off while you're still alive and being lashed over your body as you scream until you die. You're a cute kid, so apologize. If you do, you can spend your last moments in blissful, wonderful ecstasy as I gently, gently finish you off. Oh my god, warding, excuse me? Be silent, Fluencerovich. I have no intention of speaking with you. So you say that you think nothing of me, do you? I don't like it, that disrespectful gaze of yours. I really don't like it. Pew 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 pew. Karan-kun! Isn't he stronger than he was against Saturn? That is why humans are so frightening. Sometimes they even become witches and treat demons as butlers. Uh-oh. So which they cheer on? Oh, so there is some development between character to character if she said that he became stronger? Are you saying that this guy on par with me? Don't look down on me. As long as you have that pride, you can never win against me. You speak of Lucifer as the eldest of the seven sisters of purgatory and say that I can never win? How conceited! Oh, she's losing it. Poor girl. She's losing to some fucking chair. Jesus Christ. Oh, what? Huh? Karan is desperately trying to stay alive, and he had the strongest desire to become human, but Lucifer didn't feel anything stronger than a side desire to play. So that reached an inevitable result, with the ability to yield such a result in the powers of human. The power of a heart. That's as far as you go. You can never win against me. Ooh. I'm here in water. Through the plums. Oh my god, does it mean the healing is coming? Jesus Christ, I hope so. A glowing red trail extends straight from Kansas' arm, pointing at Lucifer's throat just beneath the tip of her chin. What is this? How could I? There must be some mistake. As she ground her teeth in irritation, she tries to deny the reality right before her eyes. But no matter how much she believes in her own superiority, it didn't change the fact right before her eyes. Huh. Well done, Kanan. Wonderful, you haven't made me bored. How beautiful my furniture is in comparison. Lucifer, you're boring, my lady. Was this opponent really too much for you to handle? I'm disappointed. Oldest over 7 stakes. That would have seemed like nothing more than a simple rebuke to an outsider. However, furniture serving the witch knew that what kind of severe treatment was promised by the rebuke and understood what has been left unsaid. Ah! You good-for-nothing furniture! She howled. Ooh. Bringing her last bit of pride, she made her body explore, exposing her true form. That form was a demonic stake which bounced and deflected off the walls all over the room. All over the room. How could you shame me so much? I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you! You slowpoke. Even though you can't even follow my movements anymore. I won't play around anymore. I'm seriously mad. I'll pierce your heart in one blow. I'll blow right through you and make a fountain of bright red blood reach the ceiling. Die! Karan-kun. Oh, this shit again. Uh-oh. With a speed exceeding even the limits which the human eye could follow, Lucifer went wild and flew at Karen's head. Lucifer confirmed that sweet taste she could feel was definitely Karen's blood. But she quickly noticed she hadn't pierced Karen's heart. Huh? This is why humans are frightening. Would you like some black tea? I'm fine for now. This is so interesting. I don't want black tea. Karan-kun. Uh-oh. No way. These two plums of blood in the front looks like turtles, doesn't they? This one to my side looks like Flanderia from Toho. Hold on, we should name all. Clear. This down one doesn't look like anything. Oh, this one, the lower one plump closer to me, which is like a half an island or whatever. It looked like another Toho character, but I don't remember her name. The one who wants to fuck corpses with this one. Yeah, other plums just look like plums. But this one is really look like Flandera, doesn't it? Like, look at her. She has wings and shit. And two turtles. Awesome. So arrogant. That's why you can't win against me. The floor was stained with dripping blood. It really was Karan's blood, but it wasn't flowing out of his chest. Karan had sacrificed his own left hand to protect his heart. Is it good enough? You're just gonna die now. Lucifer was arrogant, even though she had been given enough time to realize that this was an opponent capable of cornering her, even though in her pride she was believed that he was a worthless opponent. She has gotten careless. So just as she has announced, she had aimed for his chest, trying to pierce his heart. Because she was arrogant, she hadn't even thought of aiming for somewhere other than the place she had announced. No, maybe she had thought about it a little. However, her pride would not allow her to aim for a different spot. Because she was Lucifer the Proud. Karan, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon stake sticking deep into his left hand strongly with his right, and pulled it out. The sound of breaking bones and even more blood dripping down could be heard. She instinctively averted her eyes. There was an air hole in the back of a pierced hand so big that she could clearly see through on the other side. Karan's face was filled with agony, but in this very movement, he had won without a doubt. The demon stake he was gripping with his right hand turned back into Lucifer again. Karan was not gripping exactly where her neck was. I win, Beatrice. Karan didn't hold back at all with the hand gripping Lucifer's throat. She had challenged him again after their fight has already been decided. Karan had no obligation to be considerate. Even so, Karan released the witch's furniture. Was it his naive humanism, his pity for another piece of furniture, or a final show of respect to the witch? In any case, when she was released, Lucifer fell face down on the ground and made it as if to vomit, moaning over in pain in her throat. Spectacular, Kanan. Your great effort had gone some way of proving Hinza's research correct. Renova was clapping his hand. Mosquito, fuck off. To Kanan, who had achieved a difficult victory, incurring a wound on his left hand that couldn't be closed, that applause seemed nothing but shallow. All possibilities are hidden in the human heart, was it? My, this is why humans are frightening. Stop saying this! Well done, Kanan. You're victorious. Spectacular. Are you okay? Kanan-kun! Shan ran up to him and wrapped a handkerchief around his left hand, which was still spraying blood. That was spectacular, Kanan! Truly spectacular! I was also slightly hoping when I upset. How truly wonderful you are as a furniture not to let me down! I think better of you now. I honestly think better of you! You have better not have forgotten our promise, Beatrice. Of course I have not forgotten. A second. Cool. For some reason... Oh, whatever. I'll go in soon, whatever. Of course I have not forgotten. Witches and demons are admittedly unjust. However, we are much more noble than humans. Okay, I'm finishing probably the segment and I'm gonna end. It was unplanned stream, to be fair. And next time I'm gonna be live on Wednesday, probably. Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I'm probably gonna have a launch stream on Saturdays this week. I don't know for sure, but most definitely. Witches and demons are admittedly unjust, however we are much more noble than humans when it comes to our contracts. I will not go back on my word. I guarantee that if you won, I would give you the right to decide the 5 people who will escape becoming the 13 sacrifices. But Beatrice-sama, I haven't yet... Huh? What is she doing? Beatrice drilled her pipe and having a nurse turn over just for Lucifer. So as horribly natural result, she fell onto the ceiling. The ceiling doesn't seem that high to people standing on the floor. However, the people who fall on it upside down and heads first surely don't feel the same way. Milady, isn't this a little much? This may be so. I suppose I will forgive her. Beatrice spun her pipe again. When she did, the magic that had been affected Lucifer was released. So as a horribly natural result, this time with extreme legitimacy, she fell back on the floor. This is awesome. Big comedy, this is really fun. I love when witches do shit like this in media. Oh, Beatrice-sama, forgive me. What are you afraid of? I haven't already forgiven you, haven't I? Kanan. So, Kanan, shall we continue? Continue what? You're saying that you want me to finish here, are you? Oh, no. It isn't over yet, right? What isn't? Stop dodging the question! I did promise you, didn't I? If you could defeat my furniture of the 7 stakes of purgatory, right? Come, arise 7 stakes of purgatory! Oh, you bitch! Really? You bitch! The 6 younger sisters of the worthless elder sister. Oh, why not? Why don't you just grant Kanan away? It's not even real, Beatrice. It's not even real. We're living in simulation. Go away. This is upsetting. Why would she do this? With shrill laughing voices, the air split. Enningold sprayed elsewhere as the remaining 6 of the 7 sisters of purgatory showed themselves. Only one of which Kanan was able to defeat by sacrificing his left arm were gathered. By now, Kanan regretted his thoughtfulness in accepting the witch challenge. He had been foolish to assume that a game with a witch would be on an even footing. Lame, Onesama, why are you crying on the floor? You people? See, this Vanessa useless. Even though she acts like she's so great as older sister, she's just on the outside. Yeah, seriously. Lucifer and Asama, your disgraceful behavior will damage our opinion about all of us. Know your shame. You novice. Kanon-kun. Awesome, awesome. But don't get cocky, okay? Lucifer and Asama just brag all the time. She's no big deal compared to the rest of us sisters. This is why I will always say Lucifer Nash shouldn't do anything. If it's alright if she just brag all the time. Because we superior ones always have to clean up the fighting scenes. What are you gonna do, Nasama? We respect your pride, so we're planning on letting you challenge him again in a beaten up body without getting in the way. But current culture is strong, right? Right now, no matter how much you struggle, there is no way you can win, right? You people! Oh, Fomoko morning in his life. Oh my god, we should end. We should end so I could watch Fomoko. My, your sisters are always so lively. Is now really the time for Discord? Being a 7-person unit is what makes you the 7th sister of purgatory. Now play nice and execute the task I gave you. Swiftly, alright? Come on, Lucifer and Nasama, if you want to borrow the power of your little sisters, say it, okay? We want to hear you ask us for help from your own mouth. You plan on mocking me more? The foolish, weak, ugly, shameful elder sister Lucifer, beg my younger sister to save me. Come on, let's hear it. If you let us hear that, we'll save you. It's a deal, right? Everyone? You... bitches. The 7 sisters of Purgatory taunted their elder sister, calling her worthless, verbally abusing her. Even Karan, who's been fighting her for his life until a second ago, couldn't bear to look straight at it. As if I could say something like that. Do it quickly. Obviously won't get anywhere with you alone. Hurry up and slay Kanan as the 7 sisters. Oh, what could be wrong, Lucifer? It is an order from my lady, you know? How cruel! Lucifer ground her teeth over and over, hurled curses at her sister, and then, as she trembled all over, she answered her sister's request. The foolish, weak, ugly, shameful, shameful, eldest sister Lucifer, beg. Oh. She was finally able to endure saying those degrading words, and the girl bearing the name of Pride broke down crying. However, the 6 younger sisters kept giggling cold-heartedly. Can we end the scene, please? Hey, don't try to trick us by crying. You haven't finished saying it. That should be enough. Come, sisters, let us play our power. I won't be satisfied until I hear the whole thing, you know? Come on, Sama, keep going. That's enough. Come on, this shame has been brought upon all us sisters. We won't let this return our life. Alright, how should we play with this beautiful furniture? Any wonderful suggestions? Me. Blaze thinks the 7 of us should get along and split continents between us. Good plan. This way all of us sisters can get along. Then I'll take the hand. All of you can have the limbs. No. I get the head. You know there's no way there'll be any meaning to promises like that. It's obviously gonna be the first over here wins. Karan-kun, if you have suggestion for how you like to be killed, just tell us, okay? Well, 7 sisters will kill you in an awesome way. Damn. Your shamed me so much. Even slicing you onto 8 pieces won't be enough. I'll slice you into 100 pieces. Here we go, everyone. Yes, Ina-sama. Yaha.
「
Yaha. The 7 of them burst at once. They had no desire to pray or boast. This time they would genuinely follow their master's orders. Slay Shikanan, swiftly. The 7 sisters jumped around this room faster than any eye could see, deciding how would they kill Shikanan. They tortured Kanan with their cruel giggles, sometimes making a close pass at him. See? Flandera, Blob? Look at it! Jesus. They kept scraping his arms, shoulders, and cheeks, carving red lines over his body. This time Shannon dashed up behind him, holding onto him so she could block the way to his body at least a little. Uh-oh. Okay, good place to stop. I really want to stop. I really want to stop. So, if you watched today, thank you for watching. 3 hours. Yay! We're gonna continue on Wednesdays. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye.